1, 2. Well, good afternoon, and I hope this broadcast of the Kilo 2 Heroes event finds you in good health, and you're abiding by all the rules that your state has set aside for you, and most importantly, you're being safe, keeping socially distanced, and being overall patient. I want to welcome you all to the K2 Heroes Special Event Station. As it says on the graph, it's honoring the doctors, the nurses, the healthcare workers, the EMTs. And let me get you a picture here so you can see what I see. I think you are. Good. Okay, that's fine. Well, once again, as New York radio amateur operators, we have a unique opportunity to do something positive during this very, very serious pandemic event that has also turned New York State into a deadly hotspot. Continues to be extremely, extremely dangerous here in the New York City area. We can express our gratitude to all those men and women on the front lines who are taking personal risks every day to tend to the needs of the healthy among us, as well as the sick, and even those whose lives were taken in the crisis. And this is what we're dedicating our particular special event to. Special evasions like this are doing that. This is Kilo 2 Heroes, K2H, and we'll do that. I represent Suffolk County, which is one of the 62 counties in New York State. SUF will be what you'll be hearing on the air. And getting to on the air, what you're going to be seeing here, what you're seeing now on the display, and I'll go live here for you for a moment. Let's go to window capture. What you see there on the display are evidences of stations that are on the air. These stations could be doing a variety of things. They could be involved in some kind of contesting, some kind of special events. And the spikes that you see are the stations that are talking to other stations. You can see where my yellow line is right now, or my blue line, as you can see on your screen. And that blue line represents the frequency that I'd like to operate on. And as you can see at the top, 14256.9. So what we'll be doing, we'll be calling CQ. That'll be, the CQ is the calling for calling all stations, that this is a special event station, and we'd like to make contact with you. And the purpose, of course, is every time we make contact with another station, we're saying thank you to those workers that we previously mentioned that are out there while we're sheltering in place. Now, this event is going to take place through the month of May. Here we are on the 14th of May, and this will continue through the remainder of the month. So I wanted to thank everybody for helping, for participating. If you're an amateur radio operator and you're listening to this, by all means, get on board. Go to the Kilo 2H special site, and you'll be able to, at that point, see how you can become an amateur radio operator in this very, very special event. Okay, let me go to our live page. Hello there, everybody. There I am. That's not a big deal, but let me just get to a little bit live. There we are. We're now listening. And let's see if we can find a clear frequency. Good afternoon. This is Kilo 2 Heroes, stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot, asking if the frequency is clear. CQ calling, CQ calling, CQ. CQ calling, CQ to all amateur radio operators. This is special event station Kilo 2 Heroes, Kilo 2H stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot, calling CQ, CQ calling CQ, CQ calling CQ. This is Kilo 2H stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot, representing Suffolk County, Long Island, New York, in the special event station honoring the heroes fighting COVID-19. CQ calling CQ. My name is Peter, Papa Echo Tango Echo Romeo Peter. CQ calling CQ. Any stations anywhere. This is Kilo 2 Heroes stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. Kilo 2 Heroes stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot, calling CQ, calling CQ. I hope that you perhaps had a chance to see Ham Radio Nation last night. We were given the very, very proud opportunity to discuss what we're doing in the Kilo 2 Heroes special event station by Bob Heil, by Gordon West and his team. And anyone that watched that, please let me know what you thought of it. It's a great opportunity every Wednesday to listen to some ham radio talk on a variety of very interesting subjects for the beginner as well as for someone that's out there in advance. Good afternoon, Joe Hearn. A very good afternoon to you, sir. If I had your first name, I'd say hello to you as well, and also good afternoon to OX64. OX64. Clearly, we're trying to make this as entertaining as possible, and we hope that the stations that are going to be calling us will give us a little background about what's going on in their area, any experiences they have with COVID, any family members that are affected, and anyone that they'd like to shout out to. This is a QSO style of special event station, so we're not looking for rate as much as many stories as we can perhaps process. QRZ, this is Kilo 2 Heroes, Kilo 2 Heroes, stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot, Kilo 2 Heroes, stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot is listening. Who wants to be the first on board? CQ calling, CQ calling, CQ. Any stations anywhere. This is special event station. Kilo 2 Heroes. Kilo 2H stroke Suffolk County, Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. CQ calling, CQ and listening. A couple of stations in there, not too strong at this point yet. Propagation isn't yet too favorable. Let's try again. Two stations calling me. This is Kilo 2 Hero stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. Thank you very much. Thanks for repeating the call. November 4 Golf Kilo. Thank you so very much for making the call. Thank you so much for being the first on board on the special event station Kilo 2 Hero stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. Thanking the heroes fighting COVID-19. My name is Peter, the operator here at the station. Papa Echo, Tango Echo Romeo, Peter. Thanks so much for calling. Give me your name, your location, and any comments you'd like to make on the COVID-19. Go ahead. Roger, Tom. Hey, that's not too bad. Not too bad. You know, not a solid signal, but at least a 5 and 5, Tom. A solid 5 and 5 here at the shack here in Long Island, New York. That's pretty incredible with 5 watts in a Taco Bell in Alabama. That's fantastic with a whip antenna. Very impressed with all of that. And I'll talk to anybody anywhere. And those QRP stations are especially proud that you put them on the air. And it's very good to hear that you're in a Taco Bell in Decatur, Alabama, that certain states certainly we hope are meeting their metrics that they're able to circulate. Well, that's fantastic, Tom. Thanks so much for making contact with us with the special event station. Be safe and be careful out there. Don't assume too much. But I'm glad you're able to circulate a bit. 73s and good driving, and thanks so much for making contact with us. QRZ. This is Kilo 2 Hero stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. Station ending in Alpha, please. Station ending in Alpha. Go ahead. Roger, I have a Whiskey 9, kind of light right now, but we'll be able to pull you in. There's a Whiskey 9 with a November and an Alpha in it. Could you give me your call again, please? Go ahead. My apologies. Yeah, propagation just isn't right yet. We'll be here a while, though, and hopefully things will improve a bit. Right now, they're kind of crummy. QRZ, Special Event Station, Kilo 2 Hero stroke Sierra, Uniform Foxtrot. Yep, I hear you, but still not enough to pull you in. I'm going to have to maybe move my antenna a bit to see where the propagation is going. Right now, it's at 240 degrees. I'm located in Long Island, New York, if you're able to point this way. QRZ, Special Event Station, Kilo 2 Heroes, stroke Sierra, Uniform Foxtrot. I believe Alpha Delta Zero. I think I have an Alpha Delta Zero Victor Delta. Alpha Delta Zero Victor Delta. Come on back with your call. Negative copy. Yep, still we'll work with this. Hopefully propagation will improve. You listeners out there, this is what Aperture Radio is all about. It's not like picking up the phone and always getting a clear signal. Right now, we're in the afternoon here. This is 3:23 Eastern Daylight Time, and right now we're not getting too much of bending of our waves in the United States from the ionosphere. Hopefully, though, we'll see if it improves. We'll hang in there and see what happens and try to find a good spot for propagation. QRZ, this is Kilo 2 Heroes, stroke Sierra, Uniform Foxtrot. Roger, thank you. There, I got a station, Alpha Charlie 4 Delta Hotel. Thanks so much for making contact with us. Your name and location, go ahead. Dennis, thank you so very much. I appreciate that. And yes, I recognize you had called before, and I appreciate that. Call as many times as you like. Thank you so much for sending your appreciation our way towards working the special event station, thanking all those that are on the front lines fighting COVID-19. 73s, and be well, and look forward to reaching you once again. QRZ, this is Kilo 2 Hero, stroke Sierra, Uniform Foxtrot. Roger. All right, now we're hearing some stations. There you go. I think the the sun is working in our direction, heating up the atmosphere. It says we're knowing we're doing a good thing. There's a Kilo November 4 station. Come on in. Is that Kilo November 4 India Sierra? Mike, go ahead. Roger, Robert. Thank you so much. Thanks for all of that. I appreciate that. Thank you very, very much for taking the time to contact me from Ringgold, Georgia. After all, everyone that's doing this could be doing a lot of other things, but they're nice enough, they're a patriot enough, and they're just understanding what we do in the amateur radio service. That is our obligation, we feel. And thank you so much, Robert, for saying thank you at all for the troops out there working COVID-19. Robert, before you leave, is there anything you'd like to add? Go ahead. Robert, thank you so much for those blessings, and back to you as well, and all the troops fighting COVID-19. Believe you me, they're going to send good karma and blessings your way too. Thanks so much. 73s, QRZ. This is Special Event Station, Kilo 2 Hero, stroke Sierra, Uniform Foxtrot.
Kilo Delta 9 Lima Tango November.
Roger, thank you. Nice signal. Best signal so far today at 278 degrees for me. I think you're in Illinois. Thank you. Kilo Delta 8 Lima Tango November. Thank you so very much, sir. Your name, your location, and any comments you'd like to make. Go ahead.
Correct the call sign. Kilo Delta 9 Lima Tango November. Name is Mike. Mike India Kilo Echo. I'm located in Illinois. Want to express my thanks to all the frontline workers, the first responders, as well as the folks keeping the police going.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you very much. Got your call, Kilo Delta 9 Lima Tango November. And it's so acknowledged, Mike. Thank you. I've been spotted by Alpha Golf 5 Sierra. Thank you very much for doing that. Thank you, Mike. We received the thank yous, and that's going to be passed along. 73s to you, sir. And sorry we can't be longer, but right now there's a bit of QSB on the signal, so we're trying to get ourselves established here in the old atmosphere. QRZ, Kilo 2 Hero, stroke Sierra, Uniform Foxtrot.
K2H
Roger, the FRR, Foxtrot Romeo Romeo Mobile, come on with your call, sir.
Okay, it's Kilo Golf 5, Foxtrot Romeo Romeo, and I'm mobile in New Orleans, Louisiana at the moment, anyway, I've got a good 5-9 copy on you.
Thank you. I believe your name is Lewis or Lou. Yes, KG5, Foxtrot Romeo Romeo Mobile. Thank you. Got a good signal here into Long Island, New York. The name is Peter, Pop Echo Tango Echo Romeo, Peter. And certainly you understand, like we do, the travesties that we've been through, the various sad times we've been through. All your parishes there, many of them have had hard times, and we understand what that is. And our thoughts to you as well, and hopefully that never happens again. Would you like to leave any other comments, sir? Go ahead.
I just want to thank everybody out there that's been involved in this, and the public also for, being, staying safe and being smart. And we're just, tomorrow we're going to have relaxed restrictions for the first time. So anyway, just want to thank all the people involved. KG5 FRR Mobile 73.
73 CR, KG5FRR. Well, thank you very, very much for sending your thoughts out to those people still on the front lines, suiting up every day and going to war in this virus. And I'm glad things are relaxing there, as I'll say over and over again, even though a lot of times the state leaders, the government leaders, perhaps are very interested in moving the economy, and sometimes at the expense of health. Hopefully that's not the case. I trust it's not. And still, I understand your good words. Another word I'll add is be patient. Be patient out there, and be very, very careful. My feelings are, unless everyone can be tested, it's still not safe out there. So even though the restrictions are somewhat relaxed, be very, very careful. And I would still wear masks and wear gloves and keep distances. That would be how I would feel. But sooner or later, we'll get more testing done, and that'll make it more proof positive that we will not have more cases. By the way, my name is Peter, Pop Echo Tango Echo Romeo Peter, and my home call is Whiskey 2 Juliet Victor, Whiskey 2 Japan Victoria. And if you'd like more information on what we're doing, you could go to our special website on the QRZ page, Kilo 2H, Kilo 2 Hotel. Thanks so much. Take care, Lou. QRZ, this is Kilo 2 Heroes, Stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. Roger, thank you. Kilowatt 4, Delta Tango Radio. I hope I have that right. Your name, location, sir, and any comments you might have for us. Go ahead.
QSL, Peter. The call's K4DTR. Name's Wally, Whiskey Alpha Lima Lima Yankee. Wally, and I'm located in Spring Hill, Florida. Now, that's about 40 miles north of the greater Tampa Bay area, right next to the Weeki Wachee State Park. We're doing very good here in Hernando County. People are behaving themselves, following the social distancing. We did have one new case yesterday here, but our county total is very low for the 7 areas of the Nature Coast here. I'm a retired clinical laboratory technician of 35 years, then an information systems consultant. My specialty was blood bank and immunology and chemistry, so I'm well aware of the testing needs, and I agree with you. I hope the leaders don't open up too soon. So far, those restrictions that have been lifted, most of the people have performed poorly when it comes to social distancing, if you know what I mean. Hi. Anyway, great signal down here, Peter. You're about 20 over here in West Central Florida. K2H, K4DTR.
Thank you very much, sir. Did you list your name? I have your name listed as Walter here, but sometimes that's not right on QRZ. Is that incorrect? Go ahead.
Yeah, Roger in the bog. I go by Wally, Whiskey Alpha Lima Lima Yankee, but that's my given name. But yeah, that's what it is.
Thank you, Wally. I appreciate that. Weeki Wachee World. I'd like to say that very, very much. Well, congratulations. Thank you so much for your service as a clinical lab tech for 35 years. Yeah, you exactly know really what the issues are, what the risks are, and I always risk reward. I mean, this is not like a war where you have to take a hill. If you don't take the hill, the enemy will overrun it. We can be more patient. We can sit back and we can wait until all the metrics look right. Here in New York, our governor is being very transparent. and being very cautious, perhaps at the expense of votes and pullback. But I got to tell you, I feel comfortable with that. Here on Long Island, Nassau, and Suffolk County, Wally, we've met 5 of the 7 metrics. 5 of 7, so we are not going to be relaxing our restrictions anytime soon. And in New York City, that is a big unknown. That's not going to, maybe in June, things will start to improve. But again, it's all up to the numbers. It's going to be hard, clinical, scientific facts that'll make that decision. So I really do hope that if some of these restrictions are loosened, understand that most likely, and I hate to put a negative spin on it, Wally, but most likely it's because of pressure on the political side, not on the medical side. And another thing I want to say, those of you who have had COVID-19, those of you who have gone through it, your symptoms weren't too bad. I'm so happy for that. My sister and brother-in-law went through it. Your plasma is very valuable. Your antibodies are right now the magic bullet, the remedy that can save many, many lives. I believe one plasma infusion will save maybe 2 or 3 lives. There are people that are taken off the ventilators, and there's nothing else that they can do. So please, if you have plasma, please consider donating it to the Red Cross. Of course, certainly you want to consult with the medical professionals just to determine your situation. But if you can, please do. We really appreciate that very, very much. Wally, to you for your finals, and thank you so much for your good words. Back to you for a final, Wally.
QSL, Peter, K2H, this is K4DTR. Yeah, fine business, agree with you 100% politically and scientifically. We know who actually the leads are, agree. Governor Cuomo, very transparent. Unfortunately, we don't have that situation here in Florida, and we'll leave it at that. So I know I'm sure you know where I'm coming from. Otherwise, I just wish the same to everyone. Stay safe. First responders just can't say enough. And coming from the profession all my life, retired just 4 years ago from Dell, working in major hospital systems, especially in New York and Boston. It's just amazing what they can do, and my heart goes out to them. Let you run, Peter. Thanks very much. I'm sure others want to call you. I just want to get you in my log. Thanks for all your work and what you're doing, and everybody stay safe, and we'll play by the rules. K4DTR, clear.
Roger, Wally, thank you so very much. Thank you for those very, very reasonable comments. Everyone out there, you understand that this is not a typical special event station. This is not Parks on the Air. This is not the Working Lighthouses. This is not Field Day. This is not even one of the special events that we put on, the Great South Bay Amateur Radio Club here on Long Island, which is to K2M, I believe, to honor the men and women who built the Grumman Airport, who built the LEM. This is very different. Maybe more of this is a public service. So clearly, the most important function we can do is thank those that are on the front lines, to the point that Wally made. We're honoring the doctors, the nurses, the healthcare workers, the EMTs, the police, the firemen, the military, those who provide help in the mortuaries, the hospital workers, food services people, postal people, sanitation people, all of those people that are, all of them, risking their lives in one way or another, those who are tipping our hat to. And, of course, we also want to send out our feelings, our public messages on how we feel about what the scientists are telling us. And clearly, we also are streaming this through many, many streaming outlets. My main stream outlet where I'm registered is Twitch, TWITCH TV. My call sign, Whiskey 2 Juliet Victor, if you'd like to join in on that and follow the stream and give me some chat comments. I'd very much like to hear chat comments, any comments you might have. Any shout-outs at all would be really, really wonderful. So this is the kind of event it is. I hope you don't mind. Hope you like it. This is a positive event. We're saying thank you to those people that are out there working hard every day to keep us well. But overall, we need to also talk about what is going on in some of these states. I'm curious about what their situation is and what they're doing, the direction they're going in. We want everybody to open, but we want everybody to open up strong, and we don't want to lose another life. That's really what the objective would be. 73 is Wally. Thanks a lot. QRZ, Kilo 2 Heroes, Stoke Sierra, Uniform Foxtrot, on the air, enthusiastic, and ready to make some more contacts. We're listening.
Whiskey 5 Sierra Victor.
Roger, thank you. And thank you, stations. I hear you out there. I hear you, and I want to work you all, and propagation is improving. Whiskey 5, Sierra Victor, thanks so much for the call. Very good afternoon to you. Please give me your name, your location, and perhaps any comments that you have on what we've been discussing. Go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. Kilo 2 Hotel / Sugar Uniform Foxtrot from Whiskey 5 Sierra Victor. You're 20 over 9 down here in Central Texas. Name is Dave, Delta America Victor Echo, and we fully appreciate what the first responders are doing. I'm a first responder of a slightly different sort. I'm a homicide detective. Over.
Yes, that is a first responder in another way, and clearly we really do hope, David, very, very hope that we're not going to have too much in the way of issues with regard to individuals that are trying to go out there on their own. I've heard of a few in Texas that are opposing the restrictions and feel that it is right for these shops to open up. I understand that. I feel for these shops that are losing thousands and thousands of dollars a day, but I just don't feel comfortable about people taking the law into their own hands, weaponizing themselves, and basically bullying the government to open up. That's just not the right thing to do, David. I know you're in Texas there. Don't know how you feel about that, but that really concerns me a lot, David. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm with you 100%. It seems to me that one of the sad things of all this is that it's being politicized significantly, and I have done statistics for epidemiology before. And in looking at it, it looks to me like we're a long ways from it being over, and they're trying to open up stuff here, and I'm just not comfortable with it. It's, what can I say, it's kind of a fool's errand to try to please the public when you got something like this going on. Over.
Yeah, this is really, the horns of a dilemma. It really is. There clearly there's a number of dynamics going on, David. You're absolutely right, and unfortunately, this should have nothing to do with politics, not at all. If the gentleman in the White House wants to get reelected, it's going to be getting reelected on his merit, what he and his administration have done. Whether or not he wants to force states to open up or not should have nothing at all to do with the election. And people that are going to be voting will be voting on the basis of results. And that's really what it should be. And this should be strictly in the hands, in the purview of the scientists, of the doctors that we so trust. Clearly, yes. Are there times when doctors overcompensate, take too conservative approach, are perhaps too fatalistic? Yes, they are. But I think we have enough of a team in place that can make the right decisions. And you're absolutely correct. We're in it for the long haul, and we just have to understand it. And we have to be respectful. We may be extremely healthy. We may have tattoos, all of us, all over our bodies. We feel good. We're in good shape. We perhaps maybe are someone who gives lessons on how to better improve your body, etc. And you're in just phenomenal shape. Well, that's great, but please be thankful. Please, a new word. Please think of those people that you may accidentally, inadvertently affect if you're asymptomatic. Until tests really, and I'll tell you something, I saw some information on Korea and how they were testing. It's a different world there, a different country, but the apps they have, how to follow people, how to test on a number of different levels before an individual could enter a building is just incredible. And we are a long way off from that, and we can't take shortcuts at all. There's no shortcuts in this business. David, thanks so much for all your information, your help, and being a homicide detective is no picnic at all. It's not like what you see with Columbo. 73s to you, David. Over to you for your final, and thank you so much for contributing to our broadcast today. Thanks so much, David.
Oh, thank you very much. Let me get your name, please.
Yes, the name is Peter, David, Papa Echo, Tango Echo Romeo, and the home call is Whiskey 2, Juliet Victor.
Okay, thanks, Peter. I appreciate it. Appreciate what you're doing here. We'll say 73s, and good luck making a bunch more contacts. Let's see here. K2H/SUF from W5SV. 73s, Peter.
73s, David. Yeah, it's all about contacts, because every contact that we make, we're saying thank you to the heroes fighting COVID-19. And I know that My numbers aren't as large as some other numbers out there that are making contacts from other counties, and that's fine. Everybody has their own style. The style that I'd like to employ is really just getting more information out and doing exactly what Part 97 says we are. We are an amateur radio service first, and we're doing our best to accomplish those goals and stay true to that. 73 is to you, David. Thanks so much. Be well, be safe, and I know you will, and be patient. QRZ, Kilo 2 Hero, Stroke Sierra, Uniform Foxtrot, at your service.
Whiskey 5, Alpha Tango Kilo.
Roger. Thank you so much, sir. Whiskey 5, Alpha Tango Kilo. Thank you. Very good afternoon to you. Thanks for making contact with us here again in our station. Name, location, any comments that you might have on what we're discussing. Go ahead.
Roger. And name is Art, Alpha Romeo Tango. And my location is Enterprise, Alabama, right next to Fort Rucker, home of Army Aviation. And I just saw you guys on the scope here. Thought band's kind of quiet, obviously. And we appreciate what you're doing, and I appreciate my son's a ICU nurse in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and he's working and going to med school. That's he's my hero. And so anyhow, I appreciate all the support and the thanks, and we're doing what we can. I still teach young new pilots, Apache pilots, academics, and we're doing it either online or we split the class in half and everybody has to sit apart. If we do it at all, next week I have to teach half the class for 2 hours and then the next half for 2 hours rather than the whole class. So we're doing everything we can to keep the ball rolling and stay safe. Roger?
Oh, yeah, that's a Roger. And that means, Arthur, if you're Art, you tell me if your name is different. That's what QRZ has. If that means, like we all are, making sacrifices, doing the best we can to work what we can, it's almost like we've been thrown into the woods with, and we have few resources, but we're going to make the most of those resources. We're going to kind of be MacGyver-like. I'm kind of dating myself with that MacGyver show, but we're going to try to take the pieces that we have and make the best of it and be thankful for what we have, not what we don't have, and get through this and not expect things to be perfectly normal. All of us are making sacrifices, but my God, people and your son knows it best in ICU, there are people that are making the ultimate sacrifice. And wouldn't it be a tragedy if that individual was infected by someone who was just careless out there? Wouldn't that be something? That would be something that I don't think that person would know that they did that, but somehow their subconscious would know, and that would be a bad thing. What I want to do is give a shout out to your son, wonderful ICU nurse. Yes, he's one of our heroes we're celebrating. Could I please, Art, have his first name? Go ahead.
Sure, he's Arthur also, but he's named after my dad, Arthur John. And yeah, I appreciate that. He, like I said, he works weekends and he's in medical school in Chapel Hill at UNC during the week. I don't know how he does it. I mean, I went to flight school, but I just don't know how he does it.
Well, how he does it, it's called motivation. It's called a very strong desire. Just like we have a strong desire to do what we do, when you have that desire, and also when you have the DNA, I know that that DNA doesn't run far from you, Arthur. And, as a pilot myself, going through flight school, that's also takes dedication. And I know there were many times that I wanted to wash out because I just wasn't getting it fast enough compared to the rest of the class. But I think you know how that goes, and I think that clearly he's got that in spades, and he'll do well, and he'll succeed and be a terrific doctor for sure. Thanks, Art, very, very much. I appreciate that. Appreciate your time, and thank you so much for your very, very very special comments. Thanks, Art. I'll say another 73s to you. And before you leave, what kind of aircraft did you fly? Go ahead.
I flew Apache helicopters for 27 years and retired in 13, and I am blessed to continue to be around those young kids. They give me a reason to get up in the morning.
Arthur, you're absolutely right. Apache helicopters, that is one complex vehicle. That's terrific. Congratulations, and thank you so very much. 73s. Let's see, OX64, he's telling me that 20 meters has to be one of the most frustrating bands on ham radio. I made contacts every day, 80, 40, and 10, but in years of operating, I've yet to make a single contact on 20. Well, maybe you can make a single contact with me. Do you have the capability, tell me, to put some kind of a signal on the air here on 20? If you do, I'll be there for you and do what I can. Let me know if you can. Give me your call, and we'll do the best we can. Yes, 20 can be very frustrating. You're absolutely right, but it's worth trying. So let me know if you want to set something up, and we'll do a little schedule here. Arthur, thank you very much. I know a lot of you folks basically are perhaps thinking, is this more like a radio show, a call-in show? Well, not really. It's amateur radio. We're not advertising anything. We're amateurs because we don't make money at this. We're doing this because of our love for helping out others, and this particular these thank yous that everybody is giving, this is being streamed, and these packages I'm sending, these highlights to people in the healthcare field, and those people are really appreciating it because in their days, their double shifts that most of them have, it's too difficult for anyone to say thank you because they're just so packed. We're saying thank you, and I appreciate it, folks, for saying thank you to them. 73's to you. QRZ, this is Kilo 2 Hero Stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot.
November 0, Sierra Papa, also a pilot.
Roger, okay, the second pilot on board. Welcome aboard. Thank you so much, sir. Tell me the kind of plane you fly. November 0, Sierra Papa, I like that call. Let me just get you tagged up here. K4DTR, thanks so much for spotting us. I have it as Patrick. It's probably you probably have a different call sign, and also maybe what your name was, what your nickname, flight name might have been, Patrick. I think you're in Colorado. Thanks so much, and make sure that I know your location and any comments also beyond the flight comments based on what we've been saying, Patrick. Over to you, sir.
Okay, well, of course, I like what you're doing. I go by Dennis, my middle name. I currently fly private jets, the Falcon 7X, the large cabin private 3-engine jet. Flew the P-3 Orion in the Navy when I was a Navy pilot. So anyway, I won't keep you. There's probably other people that want to talk. I'm in Golden, Colorado, actually northwest of Golden, Colorado, in the Rocky Mountains here, talking to you with a wire antenna stretched across the canyon. So back to you, N0SP.
Well, thank you. That's great. A wire stretched to Coney Canyon. You're doing well. A good 10:15 over 9, 10:12 over 9 at least. Once again, I was distracted for a moment. What's your name again? Go ahead.
Dennis. I go by Dennis. Patrick's my legal first name, but I go by my middle name. Over.
Yeah. I wish there was a way, Dennis, that QRZ could give us the opportunity to put the name that we'd like to use on amateur radio. But this is how it is for now. This works fine. Great on what you're flying. Nice equipment. Very, very nice. Enjoy it. Be safe. And again, thank you for acknowledging what we're doing, that you enjoy, that you are positive about what we're doing. It certainly is something that we are very pleased about. We're just amazed at the outpouring, not only amateur operators but other folks as well. We had the pleasure last night of being on Bob Heil's show, Ham Radio Nation, where he gave us the opportunity to talk about what we're doing, and they were very respectful and very understanding, and really very, very pleased. They're hearing about it from all different people. Word of mouth has really been spreading across the nation and the world in terms of what we're doing, and that's very, very gratifying. It really is. Thanks, Dennis, a lot. I just want to read here a few things. Stand by, Dennis. Thanks so much. 73's to you. Before I take the next call, this gentleman that was having trouble, OX64. OX64. Thanks. I was trying, but I'm not coming through at you at all. You're 5'9". Okay. Could you give me your call? Let's see. I have someone else saying, thanks for your work on this, Peter. My nephew is professionally involved with the Northwell Health Foundation, working hard to find a cure. That's fantastic for COVID-19 and to provide the medical professionals what they need to stay safe. Thanks, Ken, KCY, KC2, Yankee Romeo Juliet. Ken, thanks a lot. If you could give me the name of your nephew, I'd like a shout out to him. I really very much would. Thank you so much. 73's to you. Thank you, Dennis, for the time. Thanks for your comments. Basically, okay, OX64, make sure I got you right. Yeah. Let me look over here. Okay. Yes, OX64. You give me your call. Give me your call sign, and we'll set aside some time for you. Please do that. We'd like to. 73's, I believe there's a station, I think, Kilo 4 Mike Romeo. Go ahead. Victor November, Quebec. Thanks for standing by, stations, on that. I didn't hear him, but I heard weekly, but I think I have you in the log. Correct me if I'm wrong with the call. Kilo Delta Zero, Victor November, Quebec. Kilo Delta Zero, Victor November, Quebec. Do I have that right? Give me your name, location, and correct me on the call, sir. Go ahead. Very good. Thank you for that. Thanks for that. Thanks for mentioning your son. Could you give me your son's first name, please? Go ahead, Todd. Roger. Do I have Lawrence as correct? And I think you go by the name of Jerry. Is that right? I think you go by the name of Jerry, and his name is Lawrence. Do I have all that correct? Go ahead.
My name is Gary, and his name is Lauren, L-O-R-I-N, L-O-R-I-N.
Roger. Thank you, Jerry. I got that now as Lauren, L-A-U-R-N. Thank you so much for that, and please thank him for all of us. He's one of the heroes out there. 73s, and enjoy the day. Okay. Thank you. His name is Ben Maltz, M-A-L-T-Z. My pleasure. Thank you so much for mentioning that. First name is Ben. Thank you, Ben. Thank you for what you're doing, and we need people like you to take your time and come up with the scientific results that we need to feel much, much safer. 73s to you. Thanks so very much. My pleasure. QRZ, this is a special event station, Kilo 2 Heroes, Stroke Sierra, Uniform Foxtrot. Kilo 4 Papa India Mike, I believe. I'll repeat that. Kilo 4 Papa India Mike. Go ahead.
Georgia is correct. Kilo 4 Papa India Mike. I'm located in Florida, Central Florida, in the villages about 50 miles northwest of Orlando. My name is Tim. Papa India Mike, just like the call sign. Over.
Roger, Pim. Thank you so much. Got you in the log. Thanks so much from the villages in Florida. I appreciate the contact. Thanks so much. Call us as often as you'd like. Propagation gets better, we'll be able to talk a little bit more. But for now, 73s, and thank you so much for saying thank you to the heroes fighting COVID-19. This is Kilo 2 Heroes, Stroke Sierra, Uniform Foxtrot. Kilowatt Juliet 4, Kilo Juliet 4. Stand by 1 second. Pim, I think I heard you making another comment. Pim, do you have another comment to make? Go ahead. Okay, negative. Pim, we'll talk again soon. The Kilo Golf 4 station first. Go ahead.
Kilo Golf 4 Juliet, Papa Lima.
Roger, thank you so very much. Very well said. Very nice enunciation. Thank you. That helps my ears. I'm wearing some earbuds here, and I'm using these earbuds, and I think your name is Kyle, because this is the way I can stream a little bit better. I'm using a desk mic, and I'm streaming with that desk mic, getting another mic that is feeding it to my stream, but using the earbuds rather than what I normally like to use as my headset. So thanks for being so clear with that. Kyle, please correct me if your name is not right. Give me again your location and any comments that you might have on what we're discussing. Go ahead, sir.
I work in healthcare IT, and my fiance is a nurse practitioner, and we have lots of friends, some of them on the COVID-19 task force in New York City. So we've been tracking this thing, pretty closely, but I guess it's fair to say everyone else has too. But I thought this was a really cool thing you're doing, so I figured I would jump in and say hello. Back to you.
Well, thank you, Kyle, and thank you for acknowledging that. And again, I want to shout out, I believe you said it was your girlfriend who's a nurse practitioner, and you're also healthcare IT. Thank you so much for your very, very valuable service. And when we talk with someone like yourself who tells us about your particular situation where you're directly on the line there involved, we are so pleased to be able to directly say thank you and to thank everyone fighting COVID-19 in any way, shape, or form. Thanks a lot for acknowledging the stream. Yep. It was an idea that I had that was born out of my simulation work on different racing. I did racing, amateur racing, and now I am involved with streaming and doing some amateur racing with iRacing and different other venues as well. And I thought, well, why not? Why not do this with amateur radio? And my goal really is to try to get more young individuals excited about what we're doing in amateur radio, and perhaps show them that we use technology, we use sound cards, We used a different type of very interesting kind of elements to make this happen, and it's something that hopefully I can pass on to them, and maybe they could become an amateur radio operator. And also, seeing what we're doing here as a service, not only doing just general rag chewing, which is fine, or contesting, or DX or DXCC type work, but something like this, which is really meaningful and makes you feel good. And nothing like that. At the end of the day, I'm sure all of us making contact with this station feel good about it. So thanks a lot, Kyle. And yeah, we appreciate as many subscribers as we can get. That's going to help continue to pass the word out, because word does go out there, and more word of mouth, perhaps the more young amateur radios that we can get on board. Over to you, Kyle, for a final. And thanks so much for your time, sir. Go ahead.
Absolutely. No, the pleasure was all mine, and a big thank you for what you're doing. I think it's really cool to highlight amateur radio as a service first and a hobby second. I think it's really easy for most of us to forget that aspect of it. So thank you very much. I know I'm doing what I can, and I have ever since I first got in, to introduce other people to the hobby, especially people that have overlapping interests. And I know since you're a pilot, that's one of those overlapping interests. There just seem to be some other hobbies that go along with amateur radio, and you learn to identify those as the years go by. So just trying to do what I can do to get people into it, and it's been a lifelong hobby for me. I've enjoyed it immensely, and I think things like the internet haven't ruined amateur radio. I think your live stream and your special event station actually highlight that they add to amateur radio. So a big thank you for what you're doing, and I'll turn it back to you. I know there's a pile of people waiting to get in, so thank you very much for picking me up, and we'll turn it back over to you. Thank you very much. Stay free and stay healthy from K2H.
Roger, Kyle, thank you so much for those very eloquent and very meaningful words. And yes, overlap is a good word. And I think that a lot of the young people out there can see perhaps a connection and maybe a way to be special. There's only 300,000 of us in the United States, and you can be part of a relatively small group of people involved in something, and you can also feel good about doing good. I know the new generation of young folks out there, perhaps 25 and younger, they understand about giving back and about good causes, and we are also a cause. We're not certainly a hobby first, as you said. We're a service first. That's how the FCC recognizes us, and hopefully, there are a lot of folks that out there that are going to technical schools, and this is just an interesting way to use some of the formulas, use some of the math, geometry, trigonometry formulas that you're using, and use it perhaps to consider building an antenna system. What a wonderful thing to be able to do is build an antenna system, get on the air, and then at that point test out your formulas. Wouldn't that be exciting? And of course, it's an extension of what I really truly believe in, is that's the STEM research and the STEM initiative: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. If you can see behind me, if you're looking at the stream, you're seeing a banner that says AMSAT on it, Radio Amateur Satellite Corporation. What do? Well, we help colleges and universities get their small one cube satellites into orbit, into low Earth orbit, and we have the technology to help them build it if they need some help. But we also have the means to be able to go to NASA for a launch. So we're having a wonderful time being able to show them that, and that's why I'm so proud to put that AMSAT banner. And next to it, it may not be too clear on the stream, but there's a balloon that said Mother's Day, but now it says thank you. Thank you to all those people working the front lines, certainly like you, Kyle, and certainly like your girlfriend. Thanks so much for all of that. We appreciate that. QRZ, in case you forgot what we're doing here at Special Event Station, what are we doing? Well, we're honoring the heroes fighting COVID-19. We're so proud of that. And thank you so much for making contact with us. Kilo 2 Hero, Stroke Sierra, Uniform Foxtrot, QRZ.
Whiskey 2 Romeo, Delta Hotel.
Roger, big signal and very nice audio. Whiskey 2 Romeo Delta Hotel. Yes, hello there. I think this is a Richard, if I'm not mistaken. Make sure that is. Thanks a lot for the contact today, sir.
Okay, yes, it is Rick or Richard. You are at least 40 over 9 up here in Kings Park. What a beautiful signal. I just got down off the roof working on the antenna, and started to tune around 20, and I could hear you coming up, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful signal. I will not hold you. They're stacked up waiting to work you. and I thank you for all that you have you've done and doing. Kilo 2 Henry, this is Whiskey to Romeo Delta Hotel.
Rick, thank you so much. Well, whatever you're doing a phenomenal job. So ditto to you as well with a 40 over and just phenomenal audio. I probably like to pay more attention to the modulation, to the processing, and to the mix, and you're doing a phenomenal job. Thanks so very much, Rick, for making contact with us. Thanks for the compliments. And Clea, I don't know, we put up our system last year, and little did I know, and this is to me, even though I enjoy all the other aspects of amateur radio, little did I know that really in many, many ways, the ability to put out a good signal, and we know both in Kings Park and where I am in Northport, we have some altitude. I really enjoyed being on the South Shore, but didn't enjoy the floods that I was getting, being on the salt water. But having some altitude like we both have really makes a difference. Location is so critical in amateur radio. Rick, thanks a lot. Thanks for the time, anytime, as often as you like, Rick, and be safe on those roofs. Good day to do it, though. QRZ, this is Kilo 2 Hero Stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot listening. QRZ, this is Kilo 2 Hero Stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot listening. Yes, I have an aeronautical mobile. That's interesting. It's a Victor Echo 1. Come on in with your call. Go ahead.
Kilo 2 Hero Sierra Uniform Fox from Victor Echo 1 Papa Tango Romeo. Stroke Aeronautical Mobile, good afternoon. The name's Pierre, Papa India Echo Romeo Echo. The name is Pierre, and we're off Newfoundland, Canada. We don't have a whole lot of time, but been listening along the last few minutes. Wanted to make contact. And great audio, great signal here. We've been listening along here for the last probably 10 minutes. So with that, we'll pass it back to you.
Roger, Pierre, a little bit of QSB. Well, we have you. Victor Echo 1, Papa Tango Romeo. It's funny, when I put Aeronautical Mobile in here, Pierre, the logging program thought that you were in Spain. I won't keep you, Pierre. You want to keep your eye on instruments. You're probably, you may be flying an instrument, but who knows? In Canada, a lot more cloudy days than clear days and IFR days. Pierre, thanks so much. 73's to you. Thank you so much for taking the time to making contact with us. I appreciate that. Pierre, if you can hear me, just quickly, what kind of airplane are you flying? Go ahead. Beautiful plane. The King Air is a gorgeous plane. It really is. I recently saw a King Air. They were on a program on the A&E channel. It's Trading Jets, and he was trading in his King Air for a Falcon jet, and I think his King Air was valued at somewhere around $1 million. So that's great. 73's Pierre. Be well, be safe out there, and thanks so much for taking the time to make contact with a special event station honoring the heroes fighting COVID-19. QRZ, Kilo 2 Hero Stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot.
Kilo 4 Papa India Mike.
Roger, thank you. Kilo 4 Papa India Mike. Thank you so very much. Good to say hello to you again. How are things today in the villages? I think it's Bill. Go ahead.
The name is Pim Papa India Mike. I talked to you a few minutes ago. Didn't get a chance to make any comments, so I'm frustrated with the lack of government information, specifically statistics. We get always we get the information, the total number of cases, total number of deaths, but nowhere do we get the graph of, let's say, the changes per day, how many new cases per day, either per state or per central United States. And that is supposedly the data on which is based the way we are going to go on getting reestablished and getting things back on track. And I've seen only a graph twice in the news in the last 7 weeks. And one graph displayed by the government didn't even have dates on it. It said week 1, week 2, week 3. And I'm a retired engineer, and I've been working in statistics, and I'm frustrated by the particular lack of information that's given to us by the government. Back over to you, Peter, K4PIM.
Roger, Pim. Well, I'm so glad that you came back, and your signal came up to a 10 over 9, so good copy. And I knew you wanted to make a comment, but we were having a lot of QSB, and I really do appreciate your comments. This is what certainly part of what we're doing is all about, because we're saying thank you to the heroes fighting COVID-19. Let's remember something, folks. These folks are out there. They're putting their life on the line. They're spending their day saving people's lives, It's a tragedy, wouldn't it be, to have another life lost because a local government is just too anxious, too greedy to get the economy in their state running on because perhaps they're not getting the right direction, and that would be really a tragedy. I will say this to you, Pim. If you have an opportunity to go on YouTube and look at some Governor Andrew Cuomo and his daily briefings and how transparent he is, he's giving us every single number, every graph possible. I think as a statistician, as an economist, you'll look at that and you'll be very proud of that. We have 7 major metrics that we have to reach, Pim, here in New York State. And until we have 62 counties, they all have to reach that. Right now, only 3 counties have made that 7 metrics. We here in Long Island, Suffolk and Nassau County, only have 5 of the 7 metrics reached. So here is an example of responsible governance, a person who's only caring about one thing, the safety of his people that he's governing. So, Pim, we're proud of our governor, and I wish other governors would take note from that. Go ahead.
George, you're correct. I have heard him a number of times, and he is the exception. He is really very good at providing everything and all the information, and our federal government could take an example for him. I wish they would do what he does. I agree with you. Thanks very much for going back. I also have my thanks to all the first responders. I have a granddaughter-in-law, the wife of my grandson, who is a registered nurse in Utah, and she's doing a wonderful job, and we're concerned about her. My son actually builds hospitals. He's a electrical technician, and his wife works on working for a medical company, writing codes for the tests for the COVID. So I thank all these people and everybody else that's first responders. So thank you very much, Peter, for giving me the chance to come, and back to you, K4PIM.
Pim, thank you so much. Thank you for that. Thank you for that information. And I want to make it clear, I am certainly not anti-economy whatsoever. I'm not. But I think, and I'd love to see more businesses open up, that is for sure. But one thing we have to really appreciate, as we said earlier, we have to also be responsible for the numbers, and we have to be aware of that and the direction that that's going. And we've never had to follow that so strictly and so carefully, but this is one of those exceptions. So hopefully the other governors will realize that. The worst thing that can happen is, as they open up too soon, and many of them are, they're going to have more cases. That's just a given, and certainly that would be really a disaster for sure. And it would be a shame for them as elected individuals saying, well, other people said we told you so, but we ignored that. And how are you going to explain that to real people that are passing away, mothers, fathers, daughters, grandmothers, daughters-in-law, fathers-in-law? How can you look them in the eye and say, yeah, sorry, we opened up too soon, and very sorry for that death that perhaps should not have happened? Well, what are you going to do? Anyway, thanks a lot very much, Pim, for your comments. Again, let's remember, we're here in a positive way. We're saying thank you to the heroes fighting COVID-19, all of them, and can't thank everyone enough really being part of our event. Thanks so much. QRZ, Kilo 2 Hero, Stroke Sierra, Uniform Foxtrot.
This is Whiskey Zero Alpha Zulu.
Roger, thank you very much. Whiskey Zero Alpha Zulu. Thanks so very much. Appreciate that. Your name, your location. Thanks so much for being so patient, and any comments that you might have. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. Name here is Steve, Sierra Tango Echo Victor Echo. We're located in Durango, Colorado. I've just been listening for watching your live stream, and just wanted to report. We don't have a tremendous amount of cases in our county, but just to the south and west of us in the Navajo Nation, it's terrible. I teach at a small university here, Fort Lewis College, and 1/3 of our students are Native American, and a lot of them are having a lot of trouble. So I wanted to report that and ask everyone to keep them in their thoughts, and add also that my wife is a nurse practitioner. We're both semi-retired. I'm teaching part-time. She's nursing part-time, but she's been called back by the local San Juan Basin Health to do contact tracing. So I guess everybody's doing what they can. Back to you, W2JV, as Kilo 2 Kilo Stroke SUF. This is Whiskey Zero Alpha Zulu.
Thank you, Steve. Good signal, and thank you so much for those comments. And I'd like to give a shout out to your wife, if you don't mind. Could you give me her first name, please, Steve? Go ahead.
Yeah, her name's Debbie, and actually her call is Kilo Bravo Zero Nancy Lima Nancy.
Roger, Kilo Bravo Zero Nancy Lima Nancy. Debbie, if you're listening, I'm sure you're not. You're working. You're doing the work of the heroes out there fighting this war. But thank you so very, very much for going back and. Let's face it, you're putting your life on the line, and all of us every day we worry about, are they going to come home, and are they going to come home in good health. So Steve, thanks a lot. The Navajo Nation, yeah, this is certainly, which is very disturbing. Unfortunately, whether it's within a group, and I can only speak for my family as an example, and this may also branch out to other large groups that get together, like the Navajo Nation. One thing I can say is on March, I think the 15th, there was certainly a birthday celebration for my sister at my niece's house. There were perhaps about 15 family members there. Long story short, two of those, four people came down with COVID. Four people. I obviously didn't attend because I just I felt that this was not the place to be. Now, basically, there's a case where they felt that they thought, of course, at that point there wasn't a lot of information available. They thought, well, it may be just a flu, it may be a virus like influenza, no big deal. Well, thank goodness that all four of them survived. Their conditions were not too serious, and they got through it. But they couldn't help but get together. They had to get together in a large group. And this perhaps is one of the signatures of how this is spreading through clusters of groups. And perhaps the Navajo Nation, I don't know their particular politics or their religion or what they have to do and not do, but they just may not be paying attention really to the social distancing. And as a result of that, not doing all the things with the masks and washing their hands and wearing gloves. I'm almost positive that is spreading like it is because they're just not getting the proper education on that, Steve. Does that make some sense? Go ahead.
Yeah, that would be a good observation, Peter, but I don't believe it's accurate. I think the problem on the Navajo Nation is really complex. A lot of the people live at very remote, isolated homes, and there are very few places where they can go to get supplies like food and gas and that sort of thing. And they're probably exposed when they come into town to get supplies. And then a lot of my students live in a very small home with maybe 3 or even 4 generations, so they're crowded. And only 30% of the people who live on the reservation have running water. So hand washing frequently is not possible. So I think that less than education and information, it's more a matter of circumstances and I don't know what to call it. I already used the word circumstances, but if the situation is such that it doesn't lend itself to practicing the kinds of behaviors that are necessary to keep it from spreading. And then in addition to that, a lot of the initial outbreak was traced back to one meeting at one church. So that would be accurate from what you were saying. Small town got together to pray about the spread of COVID-19, and an awful lot of the subsequent cases have been traced back to that one meeting. So multiplicity of factors. It is, I believe, the place outside of New York City with the fastest spread and the highest per capita infection rate. So maybe that's a bit more information. A little more complex than other places, and certainly not a typical living situation that you would find for most Americans. And I hope people are listening and getting that information about what's happening there. And I'm deeply concerned about my students. My term ended a little over a week ago, and I am still meeting with my students online. But what I discovered when we went to online teaching back in March, I'd say half of my students I never heard from again, and that's because they do not have internet. So it's awfully hard to get the word out. It's awfully hard for them to keep clean in terms of frequent hand washing. It's awfully hard for them to avoid exposure when they have to go and get food or fuel to run pumps and that sort of thing. So a very bad situation and a very difficult one. That's K2K SUV, Whiskey Zero Alpha Zulu.
Roger, Steve. I got that all. Very good copy. Thanks so much. Whiskey Zero Alpha Zulu. Thank you. I don't know if a lot of stations could hear you. I certainly have a good signal on you, but what you're saying is very, very interesting. Very interesting story of the economics and, as you said, the circumstances. Of course, the first obvious comment would be why don't the local governments, the state governments, the capital say, look, we have this situation here and let's help. Let's perhaps make things a little bit better for them so they can, in fact, have a smaller death rate and do whatever that needs to be done to support them. I mean, after all, you would think that's what local, state governments are for, and perhaps federal government as well. But clearly that's not happening, and because perhaps they are not, quote, a large populace of votes, they may be forgotten. Unfortunately, oftentimes there's a correlation between the constituents and how much they can do. But that's something that, in my opinion, should not be happening. And yes, that's not their fault that they 30% of them only have running water and they have to go into town to buy goods. Well, it would be nice if somehow they could be supported. And hopefully, maybe there are people listening that can say, well, maybe I can do something. Maybe I can make a call. But certainly, I'd like to reach out and say, if someone can help that group, the Navajo Nation there, please, by all means, do whatever you can. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for giving me that information. And thank you for really giving me an education as well. Here in New York, we're not that clear on it. And yes, in Westchester County, New Rochelle, one person that went to a synagogue infected perhaps 100 people. One person on a cruise ship infected 634 people. So those are some serious numbers about how this travels. Steve, thank you so very, very much. And let's hope that maybe something can be done for them. Some support can be given to make their situation better and have a lesser death rate. We can only pray for that, Steve. Go ahead.
Thank you, Peter, and thanks for the opportunity, and thank you for what you're doing. I'll say 7-3 and let other people contact you, but it's a wonderful thing, and just in terms of everybody's spirit, just to be able to talk about it and to know that people are concerned and doing whatever they can. So I'll say 7-3, and I'll be clear after this transmission, and it's been wonderful. Thank you so much. K2K SUV, stroke SUV. This is Whiskey Zero Alpha Zulu clear. 73, Peter.
73s to you, Steve. Thank you. This is Whiskey Zero Alpha Zulu with Kilo 2 Hotel Stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. You said something that really resonated with me, and I will say this. When we were speaking last night to Bob Heil, boy, is he a famous guy. Is he a wonderful human being? All the things he done in the Hall of Fame. If someone is not familiar with Bob Heil, go to his. They'll put Bob Heil in and K9EIE, I think it is. But put Bob Heil in QRZ and read some of the phenomenal things that he's done. What an energetic person. Anyway, he was listening before he got on the air, and let me give you an example. He moved basically back to his location. Thank you. I'm spotted by AA2VG. Thank you. He moved back to Illinois, and he had his house there, but he was in the Ozarks, and his wife needs treatment, and he didn't have any antennas, so he quickly put up something that was tuned for 17 meters, and he was able to get on the air, just some wires, and he got on the air. He said, I listened to what you, and not me, it's what people are saying, basically, like you, Steve, and he's saying, I was just taken aback by that, how to make contact with you. And he said last night, he said, there are pileups on all. Now, remember, I'm just one county, Suffolk County. We have about 45, maybe 50 counties now represented, and it's all the same throughout all the counties. Essentially, the pileups that we're having, and we realize how caring we are. But I think, as Steve mentioned, there's also a second event. We amateur radio operators, we're human beings, and we have feelings, and we have anxiety and concern, and are extremely agitated about what's going on. The fact that we're able to express ourselves to each other, we're able to say what's on our minds about how we're feeling. We're venting, and that's one of the most healthiest things that you can do as a human being when you feel that you're helpless, and we are. I mean, we like to be clearly. One thing we understand when we're going through economics school is that we can't control everything, and don't try to control things that you can't control. We can't control this, but what we can do is control our emotions, get on the air, because I think that's good therapy. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why Bob said he believes we're doing so well, because we're all helping one another. And when we leave the contact, we're feeling better about it. Anyway, that's very important about a positive mental attitude, and I'll talk more about that later. Thanks so much, Steve. And there are times we're going to go on a little bit. We're going to talk about our feelings, and we may be go a little long. My apologies. Not like a repeater where you run out of time. Thanks so much. 73s to you, Bob. Be well, be safe, and I sure hope that Navajo Nation in your area in La Plata in Texas will in fact be able to get more help from the government. QRZ, Kilo 2 Hero stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot listening.
Tango, November, Oscar.
Roger, Tango November Oscar, come back with your call.
Yes, sir. Kilo Golf 4, Tango, November, Oscar, whatever. Name is Al, Alpha Lima. We're located in Florida. QSL?
QSL, Al, thanks a lot, very, very much. About a 5 and 5 signal, but very copyable. KG4TNO. Thanks, Al. Thanks for saying hello in Venus, Florida. Do you have any comments that you'd like to make? Go ahead.
Yes, I'd just like to say that I would like to see our federal government become more involved in getting out the PPP to the states instead of having a food fight out there, and have them get more involved in the overall distribution chain. But I don't know if they're going to do that. I think they're making too much money on the side and letting the private companies distribute the stuff. But anyway, that's my 2 cents, and appreciate what you're doing out there. Love to hear hams get together and talk about the current events, especially when they're important. K2K/F, KG4TNO.
Roger, Al. Thank you so much. Kilo 2 Hotel stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. Thank you so very much for your comments on the federal government. Yes, well, that's another thing we can't control. Unfortunately, all too often, it's partisan politics, and it's a lot of complex issues that get in the way of perhaps doing what we feel is the right thing. As an example, a Small Business Administration, they had a number of programs in place. One thing is called paycheck forgiveness. They gave that money, basically, the small SBA to the banks. One big problem, though. My cousin, who's running a small business with less than 5 people, hasn't gotten a paycheck protection yet. He's really in serious trouble. Why? Well, because the banks can decide who they want to give the money to. And by the time it comes to little old Nick, with 3 to 5 employees, there's nothing left. Why? Because they're giving the money first to the people that are their biggest supporters, their biggest clients, who have the biggest balances. Now, I know the government is looking into that, but that's no way to run the ship, not at all. So, basically, in this particular event, yes, as you said, Al, you love when amateur radios get together and talk about these things. And of course, what makes this even more appropriate and even more poignant is because it affects all of us. This is something we're not talking about some country in Ethiopia, Zambia. We're talking about us here, each and every area. So very personal to us. I think that we have to hope the local governments, the governor of your particular state, the governor of our state, who's doing a phenomenal job, they're the people that perhaps can take this and make some decisions, because every state does, the federal government can't dictate to the states what they can do. So hopefully they'll follow maybe the principles of New York State, the epicenter of this virus, and they will make some note from that and maybe learn from other countries too, like Korea, Thailand, Japan, where the numbers of deaths were not nearly as high as they are here. So that's hopefully will change and get better. Al, thanks a lot for your comments. 73s be well, and really appreciated your information. Thanks so much, Al. Over to you for a final goodbye. 73s.
Very good. Have a fine day. Continue to carry on, to endeavor to persevere. K2K/UF, KG4TNO.
Roger, thanks so much. Good words. Thank you so very much. Hopefully a lot of folks have heard that. 73s to you, sir. This is Special Event Station, K2H. Well, we're not talk radio, we're amateur radio, but we're doing a lot of talking, and I think that's a good thing. K2 Heroes, stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. I'm at the controls here, flying as high as I can be. Peter's the name, Pop Echo, Tango Echo Romeo. QRZ, folks, QRZ.
November. Good afternoon, Peter from Kilo, United 4, Bravo.
Roger. Okay, we'll get you in a minute. Kilo United 4 Bravo. Don't let me forget. Kilo 5 November, Quebec. Come on in with your name, location, any comments you have. Go ahead.
Okay, well, fine business. Name here is Dale, D-Dog, A-Able, L Lima, E England. Located in Metairie, Louisiana, right outside of New Orleans. And not a whole lot of comments, just sheltering in place here and trying to enjoy ham radio. Great thing what you're doing up there, K5NQ.
Roger. Enjoying ham radio. Yep, we're very lucky, very, very lucky that we have this this hobby, this avocation that we're doing, that no one has to force us to shelter in place, that's for sure. And I'm looking at your QRZ page that you put up as a picture. Beautiful grandkids, two beautiful girls, and that's what we're doing. We're here certainly to spread the word and protect those little girls, because this illness now is starting somehow to affect children as well. It's been mutating. I don't want it to sound like a Hitchcock movie, but scientists are telling us that this virus is finding other ways to survive as it gets warmer in certain climates, and somehow this mutation is beginning to affect children now as well. So please be careful, be aware, be safe. Thanks a lot, very, very much, Dale. Appreciate your comments. 73s, have a good day. Kilo November 4 Bravo, you're up next. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, very good. K2H SUF from KU4B. Yeah, interesting story. And there's been a lot of things going on and a lot of things that have happened. It didn't help when they sent the COVID patients over to the retirement homes and such, especially in your area. That kind of complicated things and certainly led to a lot of deaths up there. Handle here is Dave, Delta Alpha Victor Echo, and I'm located in Smyrna, Tennessee. K2H/SUF from KU4B. Over.
Roger. Yep. Let me just get the call right. Certainly, I put an N in there by mistake. Stand by 1 second. KU4B, and it comes up. It comes up correctly as Dale, I believe. Right. Your name is Dale. Is that correct? Go ahead.
No, it's David or Dave.
Oh, okay. Thank you, David. Appreciate that very much. Thank you so very much. Yes, big problem where the hospitals are moving people into the nursing homes. Now, why are they doing this? Well, a couple of reasons, we think. One is they don't have room, which is fine. But number two, and a nursing home must accept these individuals. But here's the problem. If the nursing home isn't equipped, doesn't have the right personnel in place, doesn't have the leadership that really understands what to do and isolate these patients from the hospital and puts them in the general population, guess what? They're going to be deaths, and it's going to continue to spread. I'm speaking directly because a good friend of mine, his wife is administrator of 3 nursing homes here in the New York area, and she's doing it right. She's doing it so that these people there's enough ventilators in place, and they're isolating them. Now, these other nursing homes that, for instance, there's one in Queens that has a tremendous amount of people that have expired because they haven't handled it properly, didn't have the room, and they're required to take these patients. And then when a death occurs, that death is not on the hospital count, it's on the nursing home count. So it's not working as well as it should, and there's a lot of education needs to get done, and perhaps a lot of more flexibility where the nursing homes have a little bit more leeway to what they can and can't do. Thanks a lot for saying that, Dave. I appreciate that, and appreciate your comments. 73s. QRZ, this is Kilo 2 Heroes. I know who I am, and it's Suffolk County, Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. QRZ.
Kilowatt 0, Victor.
Roger, you're saying that really professionally. Kilowatt 0, Victor. I like that. Thanks a lot. I like my Victor call because a good friend of mine, Kilo 2 Tango Victor, he always would put the V on the Victor, and that was wonderful to hear. Thanks a lot, sir. KOVV, your name, location, any comments that you might have, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Been kind of reading the mail here, and I agree 100% with your assessment of Governor Cuomo. In fact, I wish he was president. And you get my drift there, very straight and true. Anyway, my name is Ron. I have been in health service, but I'm now retired, nearly a quarter of a century retired. And I was in health service 41 years as a chiropractic physician. So I'll pass it back to you there, K2H.
stroke SUF, I believe it is, from K0 Victor.
Roger, Ron, you got that very well, and you're doing well. 10, 12 over 9. By the way, if anybody wants signal reports, I'd be happy to give it out. You don't have to give me signal reports. I know we're doing a good job. I mean that sincerely, not in an egotistical way whatsoever. Thanks, Ron, and thank you for your service as a chiropractic physician. My cousin was a chiropractic physician, and I, as a young person, 18 years old, and he was 35, he taught me an awful lot about homeopathic care that to this day I hold near and dear to me. I like that statement, reading the mail. That's right. Hopefully a lot of us can hear each other and can certainly hear the banter back and forth. We're not babbling, although it may be coming from me. And by the way, I encourage everybody, if they can follow the stream, by all means do that on Twitch TV with my call, Whiskey 2 Juliet Victor. It may enhance the experience a little bit, and if you'd like to make a comment or two, by all means, make that comment. You know, OX64, I'd like very much to see if I could work you. Don't have your call yet for 20 meters, but by all means, don't be shy about giving that to me. Ron, I appreciate that. To your comment about the governor with aspirations that you'd like to see him in the White House, well, you know, let me say this. That might destroy him. That is a difficult job, and people are pulled in a lot of different directions. Best of intentions, we've seen other great leaders become compromised and not able to get anything done. I think as a governor, believe it or not, you may not have the prestige and the title, but you certainly have, I think, a lot more flexibility, and you could get involved in a lot more things. So yeah, we're certainly happy with that. Ron, thanks a lot. 73s. Any final comments at all from? I believe you're in wonderful Independence, Iowa. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very nice talking to you. I will give you a signal report. There is some clean sugar baker, but when you're on the peak of that, you're running up 25 over 9 at times here. So very rock solid copy. And yes, if Governor Cuomo were in the White House, it would be the country's gain, but New York lost. And I understand exactly what you're saying there. Thanks again. I enjoyed the QSO. K2H SUF from Kilo Zero Victor.
Roger, thank you so very much, Ron. Kilo 0 Victor. Kilo 2 Hero Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. Thank you so much. Very, very appreciative for the comments, and thank you for the certainly the props to the governor of our state. A lot of good governors out there, and hopefully everyone will do the right thing. And before they open up, we'll have the metrics behind them, so that all of us local citizenry are comfortable with that for sure. Thanks so much. 73s, QRZ stations, QRZ. Boy, an hour and 27 minutes. It's gone by very, very quickly. Maybe not for you, but certainly for me. QRZ, and if you're looking at me, I'm looking at my lucky shirt here. I've got my shirt that made me famous last night on Ham Radio Nation. If you take a look at it, let me know what you think of it. Should I put it away in the closet? Kilo 2 Hero Sierra Uniform Foxtrot, QRZ. Roger, you're a little bit light, but I've got you. Kilo Tango 4 Alpha Sierra. Thank you. Think your name is Paul, and I think you're in the Tampa area, Paul. If I have all that right, all you got to do is give me some comments on what we've been talking about. Go ahead, Paul. Over to you.
Yeah, you don't have a real high signal about an S4, but your audio makes it sound like an S9. You mentioned this was kind of like a talk show a little earlier, and for years I did decades of talk shows out of Atlanta and also nationally, and you're doing a fine job, Peter. Over.
Well, Paul, thank you very, very much. Should encourage me because I don't want this to be a habit. You know, thank you, Paul. And speaking from one professional, I really, to an amateur, very big amateur, thank you so much for those compliments. I appreciate that. I think when you're doing something, you know, from the heart, something that really means a lot to you, the ideas, the words, the time just flies by. And I really, when I listen to talk show folks, and whether it's sports or whether it's business or whether it's just general chit chat on a psychological level, I say how lucky they are because they're really doing something they love, Paul. So thank you so very much for that. And sorry my signal is not stronger there in your area, but I'm glad the audio is coming through. Thanks so much, Paul. Any final comments? comments. This is Kilo 2 Hero, stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. Over to you, Paul, for your final, sir.
Just two quick things. One, I agree with that last person. I really admire Andrew Cuomo and his brother, too, by the way, and I wish he would run for president in my party because he would be fabulous. But I understand what you're saying about how politics can ruin a man. And the other question is, what's your rig? It sounds good, even though the signal's not strong. The audio is A+, over.
Roger, thank you, Paul, and thank you for acknowledging that. And yes, you're right. I think that Washington would certainly dilute what he can do. The rig I'm using, and it's sort of, I took a leap of faith about a year and a half ago, Paul, to get away from the radios I love, the Kenwoods and the Yaesus. And the ICOMs, and I moved over to a Flex radio. This is the Flex Radio 6400M, and it's doing everything that people said that it would do. And yep, I'm using a desk mic, and the desk mic is an INRAD mic, and INRAD makes some very wonderful mics that really made up very, very well to the Flex Radio. So thanks a lot for acknowledging that. I appreciate that. And as you know, with the Flex series, we can do a lot tailoring our signature basically equalizers to really matching the microphone very, very well. So thanks for that. I really appreciate that, Paul. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, Peter, fine business. Well, it sounds wonderful. And being a former broadcaster, I really can appreciate good audio, and that mic is doing a wonderful job. I'm on a Yaesu GX3000 with Yaesu Dex mic as well. So you're sounding really good, and very nice job you're doing having people be able to discuss this situation. A wonderful catharsis, if you will. So thanks a lot, Peter. Nice to meet you, and I hope to be talking to you again. This is KT4AS. Glad the FCC didn't add another S. Over.
Yeah, that would have been good. You might have had to switch professions and become a kind of a doctor that specializes in that area. Thanks a lot, Paul. Thanks a lot for your really valuable insight and comments. And you're right, the word catharsis is absolutely correct. I used it last night on Ham Radio Nation, describing what all of us are going through and doing. So I really appreciate the confirmation on that, and it feels good. I know we're doing the right thing, and most importantly, yeah, we're doing it for ourselves, but I know because we're making an effort. The word is getting out. Word of mouth is a very powerful stream, and our word is getting out, and I'm very grateful to be able to have the technology and the support of so many people that helped me get the stream working and becoming reliable, and I think that's helping as well. Thanks to the viewers that are watching us. If you have any comments, please, by all means, use the chat window. I'll be more than happy to respond to it. I think I can multitask once in a while. Thanks, Paul. 73 is good health. Good luck to you, and thanks so much. This is Kilo 2 Heroes, Stoke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. What are we doing? Yes, we're talking to one another about the events, but more importantly, it's honoring the heroes out there fighting COVID-19. QRZ. I believe there's a Yankee Oscar. Go ahead.
This is November 0, Yankee Oscar. Good afternoon to you. The name here is Don. That's Oscar November. Q2H is near is in a little town of Halstead, Kansas, which is near Wichita. Very good on your salute to the heroes out there. And I can't say any more than you've already said. Very fluently said a commentary there. Found your QSOs where you talked about aviation quite interesting. I retired about 3 years ago as a simulator technician from a major flight training company. You may have heard of it, Flight Safety International. And so we're very familiar with the King Airs and the Hawkers and virtually all the Textron products there. Back to you, N0YO.
Roger, Don. Yeah, FSI, I know it well, and thank goodness for that technology, because obviously a lot of pilots, as you well know, are not flying, need to put their hours in, and are going to FSI. One fellow that has a very fascinating stream on YouTube, he goes by the name of Steve-O Knievo, like Steve-O Knievel. Steve-O Knievel 1. He flies a TBM, I believe, 480 now, and he streams when he almost once a week. Now, of course, he's mostly what we're seeing is his work in the simulator, keeping himself current. So those simulators are phenomenal, and just my hats off to you, and my serious thank yous to all the work that's done, all the technology, all the algorithms to really give those pilots a real life situation. Don, go ahead.
Okay, very good. Yeah, there's a lot involved in keeping those things running, and especially now where you have to keep them extra clean and sanitized between flight crews and training sessions. I was there for almost 19 years at flight safety, and that was after 20 years in the Navy in aviation, and really enjoyed my time there overall in flight safety. It was a good place. It is a good place to work, I still think. We'll let you go there. I know there's lots of others calling you. Just wanted to get in here and say hello and add my 2 cents and help to salute our first responders and medical people. 73 there, and we'll catch you on down the log. N0YO.
Roger, Don, thank you. And let me also thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart for all the people listening. Thank you so much for your service in the Navy. And the Navy does a phenomenal job of training, and also great on your career in Flight Safety International, being really a significant person on the front lines there, keeping those pilots safe. With all the different scenarios, which are incredible. I've never been in I certainly have my own simulator here that I use, but it's fun. It's a hobby. Nothing at all like what they have there. And watching Steve-O Knievel being in a simulator and going through a number of engine issues, it's phenomenal. It really is. Thanks a lot, Don. Thanks for your contribution to the special event station. And it is special, and I hope this is the last time at the end of this month. I really do hope that we never have to come back to this again, that our scientists, our doctors, all our smart people out there can figure out how to be better prepared, because this will happen again and again. And clearly there were a number of many indications out there that this was coming our way, but unfortunately not being prepared because we just never, ever, perhaps, I'll give them a break on this, never really saw anything like this. 73s to you, sir. Thank you, Don. This is Special Event Station, Kilo 2 Hero Stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. Listening. I believe it's a Romeo Hotel Delta. Come on in, please.
Whiskey Alpha 9 Romeo Hotel Delta handles Jeff and Easy Fox, and we're in the Chicago area.
Roger, Jeff. Thank you so much. Whiskey Alpha 9 Romeo Hotel Delta. Thank you so much. In the Chicago area of Illinois. Thank you, Jeff, for your contribution here. Do you have any comments that you'd like to make at all personally to you or about what we've been discussing? Go ahead.
Okay, I've been listening to the discussion, and I hate to say it, but I don't really agree with you. And my XYL would probably take the same tack, but I think we need a balanced approach to this coronavirus crisis. We've thrown and you've heard these arguments before, but I think they're still worth talking about. We've thrown a tremendous amount of people out of work. Some of these businesses may never recover. We've got healthcare issues in that, we can't go to the doctor now, we're not doing other surgeries, that type of thing. And in Illinois here, Mr. Pritzker, our governor, has put it upon himself to, limit our activities, again, when the statute only calls for 30 days, and it is in the process being litigated now, but the problem is by the time they get to it, meaning the Illinois Supreme Court, the whole thing will be over. So I think you need to take a little bit of a balanced approach is my take on it. Over.
Roger, Jeff. I understand. Whiskey Alpha 9 Romeo Hotel Delta. I'm very glad that you're discussing that and certainly giving another opinion on how things should be run. I understand that, and I also can see that side of the argument. I would agree. I would feel a balanced approach. However, we have balancing that perhaps with statistics that can show graphs the way our governor is doing that in your particular location things are flattening out. The number of new cases, the number of deaths are trending in the right direction. And if he can just, Governor Pritzker can take some of the metrics that we have in New York State, the 7 metrics, and if they meet those metrics, then it would make some sense. You perhaps may, and I agree. I feel so badly for, and I have family members that are really hurting badly. Now, are we too cautious with some of the metrics? Well, okay, let's review the metrics, and talk about your balanced approach, and maybe look at some of them, and maybe not be so strict on them, and then take that approach and just see how that goes. That's fine. That's fine. But I think that along with an emotional feeling, an economic sense of wanting to get back, I think that if a couple of those key measurements are met and we all agree to that, then we can go forward. Does that make a little bit of sense to you, Jeff, and your wife? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. I think the real big problem here is obviously we didn't have all the data. If we had all the data, then it would be a different story. So, but I'm glad you agree at least somewhat there. And just changing the subject real quick here, I was listening to the mail, and I know you said you had a Flex 6400M, and we're on a K3 here, and I also have it hooked up to a SDR play, so I have the pan adapter also. I didn't want to. I thought, unfortunately, Electraft makes very good equipment, but very expensive. So I opted to go a different route than getting a P3. But I guess my question in that vein is, what would I get different than what I have now if I were to go to a Flex? I guess is my question. Over.
Roger, good question. And no, it's wonderful also. You know, we want to, talking about balance, and this is part of our balance in talking about radio as well as talking about our medical situation. Well, a couple of things. One, with my Flex, I have the Maestro addition to it, meaning that I have the ability to take this radio away from the computer. A lot of people that complain that the Flexes that they have, the early Flexes, you were always tethered to a computer. Well, here with the Flex 6000 series, the 6400M, I have the ability to take this rig away from the computer and operate it portable. Number one. Now, number two, as far as the pan adapter is concerned, it's no question about it, and this is not my opinion, the opinion of other people in the industry. The SDR software, they say, is a phenomenal software that beats out even the Anon, which is, I have tremendous respect, Jeff, for the Anon 7000 series radios. But again, they say their software and their ability to do so many different things with a signal, with skirts, with filtering, with voice equalization. There's a lot of that, and right on the fly, done very, very quickly. I know the K3 is a phenomenal radio. The other thing that I think is the biggest advantage, I'll say, is the noise floor. Hands down, as there's a couple of specialists that do reviews of all the radios. The Flex series is considered to be one of the quietest radios and has one of the most sophisticated front ends. And I can tell you, comparing this to other radios, A and B, no question about it, it makes a big difference in weak signal work. Jeff, go ahead.
Okay, very good. K2 Heroes / after is WA9RH. Well, I think you make some good points there. Operating portable certainly is easier than with this radio. I think you have to get some kind of a box to operate portable or a K30. And I know with the Flex, it's no problem. You just need a network. The software, I don't know. I like the software I'm using on the FDR play. I'm sure it could always be better, but I think it's good. One point, though, I think is really apropos for me is the noise floor. I mean, I have a bad noise floor here, and that would be nice to have a rig that had a lower noise floor. You mentioned the N, and you know, my bugaboo with Flex originally was, you know, I'm not that computer savvy, and I didn't want to have configuration problems, but I guess now most of the processing is done in the box, so that's not a problem. And obviously, if you have an M, then you don't even have the, you know, to connect it to the computer. So it is something to consider. The N, and to me, it might be a great radio, but that particular one sounds like it's more for people that have a little bit more computer skills. So I guess each their own. I've got five HF rigs here, so I guess the first thing for me would be to prune them and then go forward there. But anyway, just was curious there. But certainly good equipment. The only other thing I heard that was negative was something about their equipment being built in Mexico and not being the greatest hardware quality. I don't know if you've experienced any problems there, although I haven't really heard anything like that. So H2 Heroes / SU after is WA9RHD.
Roger, Jeff. Thank you. Good comments for sure. And by the way, on the Anon, they've really improved the interface between the server, which really is what we have, a server to the radio. The learning curve is not steep whatsoever. And I can tell you from early Flex users, it was a big deal. Now it's not at all. So hopefully, if you're ever going to go in that direction, you don't feel intimidated whatsoever. And yeah, I'm not aware. I always thought that these were assembled in Austin. Final assembly might not be here, but most of the work is done here, and I wasn't aware, and I'll look into that if there is any work done in Mexico. As far as the quality is concerned, no issues whatsoever. It is a bulletproof radio, and it really I'm very, very pleased with it. So thanks a lot. I'm glad we discussed that for sure. It was really my pleasure, and yes, I think that clearly, perhaps, is it possible that we're being too strict here in New York? Maybe, and I'm going to take another look at some of the metrics of the 7 that the governor put together and see if any of them maybe are a little bit too extreme. So thanks for your comments. I do have some comments really from our chat area, and I want to thank everybody for making those comments. I'm going to stand by, read them, just a few here. Hello, this person says I'm AF5, is it JAF5 IU? I believe, let me look on the other screen here. I can see a little bit clearer. AF5, yes, Alpha Foxtrot 5 into uniform. I was giving up on ham radio, he's saying. Well, don't give up on ham radio, for sure. It has, and you're in Smithville, Texas. Thanks a lot for your comment. I'm so glad to hear someone who isn't spreading all of the hate and vitriol that I hear around Texas on 3840. They talk about how the virus is a hoax and that the DCAP, the Democratic Communist Atheist Party, invented to get rid of Trump. 75 meters is garbage in the South. Well, I'll tell you this much. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. They have strong beliefs. Clearly, we don't believe that way, but and it's something really in a way that is very, very limited, and thank goodness for that. But nevertheless, this is the America, land of the free, and we have the freedom to say whatever we want, whatever we feel. And I just say to everybody, when a certain comment is made where this virus was invented in a laboratory in China, it's important to do your due diligence, do your research on your own, and come up with your own individual decision. And if you want to follow a certain group, by all means, good luck. Do that for sure. But thanks a lot for your comments, for sure. This is therapeutic ham radio. It really is, for me and for everyone else, and certainly for the heroes fighting COVID-19. We can't be doing a better thing. W5YJB and WB2UEN are the broadcasters of hate every day, starting at 8 o'clock. Okay, and ending around 10. Well, that's their prerogative, and we understand their deep feelings. But thanks for sharing that, And I'm very glad that you tuned in. This is mostly that's the exception. This is the rule. This is what we mostly do around ham radio. We're doing service, and we're doing the best job we can. So thank you so much for sticking with us, and don't put yourself up for sale for sure. Got a couple other comments to make. And I'll wait for a second or two. Thanks for your patience, everyone. We have another element here to the amateur radio time here. We have the chat window with the streamers, so we're really glad that they're aboard. You know, many of the streamers are not amateur radio operators, or maybe their equipment is in the closet, but they're really getting a taste of another piece of amateur radio that we're more than just discussing negative topics or what foot powder we're using, or what the latest aches and pains that we have. This is Hero Radio. Really feel strong about it, and we thank all the heroes fighting the front lines. QRZ, thank you for letting me go on, folks. Thanks a lot for your comments, Jeff. QRZ, this is Kilo 2 Heroes. That's what it's about, and I'm Suffolk County, Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. There's a India Uniform station. India Uniform, go ahead.
Roger. That's me out there in Smithville, Alpha Foxtrot 5, India Uniform. Name is Brian here in Smithville, Texas.
Roger, Brian, have you loud and clear. Good to hear you. Welcome aboard. Thanks a lot for being here, Brian. Alpha Foxtrot 5, India Uniform, and in Smithville. Any other comments that you'd like to share with us, Brian? Go ahead.
It's nice to get back on 20 meters. It wasn't 75 meters was never my choice down here, and then the solar flux index went way down. It's kind of where I say bottom feeders. There's some good people. There's nothing wrong with the frequency. It's the people that frequent a lot of the stuff down there. They're very, very hateful people. I've had my place has been threatened. They threatened to kill me, pull my house off its block, and people always joke around to me. My ham radio buddies in Austin always say, they always ask me if they're burning processes in my front yard. That's how bad it is down here. It's nice. It's very refreshing to hear some people who aren't so damn negative on ham radio. Over.
That's right, Brian, and that's that's a terrible thing that other folks go out and express themselves in that hateful, violent way. One thing that I really feel strongly about, although I have no proof, maybe just anecdotal information on it, Brian, is that a lot of these folks on 75 meters that are talking like this, well, they're venting and they're doing it on the radio. We don't agree with it, but nevertheless, if that's what they do, we have the choice to tune away. And if that's the extent of it, and if it just ends there, where they're just getting their feelings out and they're not doing anything aggressively, then fine, let them do it, and they're harmless, and they're basically, rather than going to a psychiatrist, they're doing it to one another. And if that's the extent of it, fine, let it be. Even though I don't agree with it, but hopefully it doesn't go beyond that. Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, they threaten Muslims to kill all the Muslims on the planet, and it's absolutely horrendous. And they say when you argue with an idiot, you become an idiot. Well, I've become that idiot 100 times over. Talking to these guys, they call me a QRMer and all kinds of stuff, threaten me to try to get Laura Smith to take my license away and all this stuff. I've talked to her about it, but yeah, man, it's nice to get out on 20 meters and up to the outside the state of Texas for once. This is AS5IU. Back to you.
My pleasure, Brian. My pleasure. Good points. And hang in there. That's an exception. We're the rule. We're the folks, and we don't make any kind of comments. That's the way they want to live. Fine, and we'll go on and not try to change your mind. One thing that we learned in Vietnam was that you can't change an ideology. You can't change it. That's how the people feel. That's their religion. That's their beliefs. And you can't go in with the strength of the United States government and try to change that. An ideology is an ideology that you cannot, with bullets and bombs and napalm, get through. And we realize that. Of course, we don't learn our lessons, unfortunately. We commit the same errors over and over again, but that's the human frailty. One thing I do hope, I do hope sincerely and believe it sincerely that this terrible pandemic, this war that we're fighting, that when all is said and done, we're going to have more understanding and more kindness to our fellow man, because clearly we're being drawn closer as a result of this terrible pandemic, and hopefully people will take stock and essentially understand that there are more important things in life, real things like life and death. And these poor people on the front lines that suit up every day, put their nurses' sneakers on or their doctor's uniform and go to work, and they're not sure what's going to happen next. So thanks, Brian. It's a funny thing. A lot of people would say 20 meters is dead, 10 meters is dead, 15 is dead. But you know what? You got to put your signal out on the air, and you never know what you're going to get. Like the box of chocolates, you never know, and you're surprised. I know that, I have a pretty good signal out here, and that's why I'm on 20 meters, because I know that a lot of folks haven't worked 20 meters lately. But and this is not the best time of day to work it. But here I am, and I'm really happy that you turned on the rig, like so many folks are, and saying hello to us. That's for sure. 73's Brian. Thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate that. Well, be safe and be well, and do the things you enjoy, and steer clear of negativity. And that's about the best thing we can do. Before I leave, I want to, my friend here, OX64, New York has always gone through some great leadership in general over the years. Okay, I wish the rest of the country was more like us in some ways. I just hate to see New York being hurt more in these times. Well, we've been through a lot of negativity. We've been through a lot of disasters here, and hopefully we're learning how to cope with that. That's for sure. A lot of strong words. You're right. I know that, and hopefully we'll be able to do our own research. Thanks for the comments. I appreciate that very, very much. Really, and the folks on the line, Brian, are really sorry that you're going through some of the things you're going through. They're really empathetic towards that, and they're saying they're really sorry, and they hope things are going to get better. We do too, and in amateur radio, it's not a state. I like to represent the entire community of amateur radio. It just so happens here's where we are. 73's to you, Brian. Excuse me. Am I losing my voice? Nah, I don't think so. Excuse me 1 second. Let me just take a little beverage here. Thank you, folks. Okay, Brian, 73's to you. Thanks so much. QRZ, we'll be here for a little longer. This is Kilo 2 Hero Stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. 738. There's, I think, a Kilo 3 November.
Roger. That's the November, Kilo 3 November.
Roger, I got that right. Thank you, sir. November, Kilo 3, November. I don't hear too many threes these days, so it's good to hear you. You probably relocated from maybe Pennsylvania, but tell me where you are, give me your name, and any comments you might have. Go ahead.
My name is Bill, Bravo India Lima, and I'm located in North Carolina, close to Pinehurst, if you know where Pinehurst is. It's the golf capital of the world. Anyway, the only comment I have, my wife did in the paper this morning, it's the first time I've seen anything like this in the paper. Usually, articles don't get published. But she read an article to me, and it was talking about socialist states and the times we're in right now. This pandemic has caused conditions would be very similar to socialist states. You can't go anywhere. You're supposed to be homebound. You'll be reported if you go out. Your neighbor will report you. And, that's they're talking about that. These things don't happen in the USA. I fought for this country. I believe in this country. And I'm on ham radio, but I'm not on a lot. I'm mostly on the Salvation Army Team Network. I try to check into them every day. That noise level doesn't prevent me from it. But anyway, that's my comments. I'm worried about where America is going and what's going to happen. If we can't get through this thing, is it going to turn into a socialist state? So socialism to me is pure communism. And I just I'm against communism 1,000%. So I'm going to turn it back to you. That's my comments for the day. This is NK3N.
Roger, Bill. Thank you so much. A little bit of QSB on your signal, but I did copy 95% of that, and thank you, Bill, for that, NK3N. For those that didn't hear about that, Bill was reading an article in the paper this morning about what's going on, that people are being basically towards each other, towards American to American, are reporting people when they're not wearing a mask, when they're not properly protected. And his concern is really that there's going to be a backlash, and there's going to be a lot of negativity. And his concern is what happens if we don't come out of this. Well, you know, I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not a forecaster, but I can tell you this, Bill, and this is information from the scientists. This is very similar to Pearl Harbor. Think of Pearl Harbor. You fought, as you said, you were a veteran. Pearl Harbor was a surprise. We were attacked. We were leveled. We were basically paralyzed. But what did we do? What did we do? We won. We came back and we won. This is no different. This is a war. It's a war of germs, not of bullets. We're not fighting another nation. And one thing I will always say, never, ever bet against America. And a lot of the people that have negativity, that feel that we will not have an answer to this and we're going to turn against one another, and this will become a permanent part of our society and we will be torn apart. Not going to happen. Not going to happen at all. We're a young nation, 231, 240 years. We've been through a lot of these sessions. If anyone wants to hear some interesting advice, Warren Buffett, at his annual meeting, spent about an hour and a half talking about where our country has been and all the dilemmas that we faced. Even as a young nation, we almost came apart, but we didn't. So we will get through this. Our scientists, our doctors, they're coming up with a cure. They're coming up with the right kind of antibiotics. We're going to be doing more plasma type of treatments. So one thing, Bill, I'll say to you is I have confidence that we will get through this. The people that are basically turning negative against one another, understandably, maybe they don't have amateur radio as an outlet. Maybe they don't have any outlet at all. But we're lucky that we can vent and talk about these things. These people may not, and they're basically acting out of panic, out of fear. Understand that. We've seen in the war, we've been next to a person that really was not able to, once the first bullet came by, they fell apart. You know, they say a good business plan comes apart after the first time that you get hit in the face. That's when it really proves your mettle. Well, some people can't make it, and we understand that, but the majority will, Bill, and I have confidence in it. We'll figure this out. We'll get through this as long as everybody is patient, Bill. I hope you feel good about that, too. Over to you, Bill, for your final. Go ahead.
Never ending. It hasn't stopped. It's, what is it? It started there. It's still going on. I'm really worried about, I know that the nation is strong, but this group has been building a foundation since the 1960s. And I think their foundation is strong enough that they feel like they can come out with it now. And that's the part that worries me. Anyway, I'm going to turn it back to you. And I appreciate what you've said, and I appreciate what you're doing. I tell you, I do want to get a pistol. I want to get your call now. I have found in the service to find a pistol around here. All right, I just found one. So if you'll come back with your call.
Roger. Thank you. A little bit of QSB started to take you out. My home call is Whiskey 2, Juliet Victor. Whiskey 2, Japan, Victoria. And thank you so much for your comments. I appreciate that. 73s, good luck, good health, and we'll have a positive mental attitude about these things. Foundations that are built on hate do not last. That is one thing that is proven over and over again in society. That is for sure. 73s to you. QRZ, 2 hours and 4 minutes. Thanks so much. And thank you for those folks that I just created a Twitter account. and that is Alpha Fox 4. Yeah, Alpha Fox 5. Let me see, Alpha Fox 5 India uniform. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. QRZ, this is Whiskey, that's me. This is Kilo 2 Heroes, stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot, remembering that we're here as a special event station to thank the heroes fighting COVID-19. QRZ. I'll try to, it's getting a little bit weak, not sure how long I can hold this. Let's try it again. QRZ, Kilo 2 Heroes, stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot.
Kilo Charlie 9, Yankee Sugar.
Roger, thank you. Kilo Charlie 9 Yankee Sugar. Yeah, I had to wait a while. A lot of stations in there, but right now propagation isn't working in our favor. Kilo Charlie 9 Yankee Sugar. Thanks for the call and thanks for your patience. Your name and location. Any comments that you might have? Go ahead.
Yeah, I have some comments. The name is Al Alcalina. I'm at the stadium in
Kilo Charlie 9 Yankee Sugar. Yeah, you disappeared on me. Let's see if you're still in there. Kilo Charlie 9 Yankee Sugar. This is Kilo 2 Hotel. Negative. I didn't. What you can do is you're in the log, but what you can do is if you want to make a comment on the chat section, the chat page of Twitch TV with Mike, call sign Whiskey 2 Juliet Victor, by all means do that. But right now, yeah, your signal just faded away, Al, so I can't hear it anymore. Apologies. I wish we had better propagation. But if you'd like to put a comment on the chat window, I'll be more than happy to recognize that. 73's to you. I'm not sure we're going to be here much longer. Propagation is really starting to weaken. The signals are getting longer now. Kilo 2 Hero stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot, QRZ.
KF7 Lima, Mike, Sierra.
The station ending in Sierra, go ahead.
Kilo Foxtrot 7, Lima, Alpha Zulu.
Roger. Yeah, another station was under you. The Kilo Fox 7, one more time again, please.
Kilo Foxtrot 7, Lima, Mike, Sierra. Lima, Mike, Sierra in Flagstaff, Arizona, Alpha Zulu.
Roger, thanks so much. Thanks for your patience. Yeah, some of the stations can't hear other stations calling me, so no sweat, no problem, no harm. Kilo Fox 7, Lima, Mike, Sierra, thank you so much from Flagstaff, beautiful location, Arizona. I believe your name is Mark. Go ahead.
Roger, that is correct, and I've checked in with your station over in Staten Island. Heard you on today, thought I'd check in here as well. Y'all are doing a great job with this, and the first responders and medical people really deserve a lot of kudos. So anyway, I'm going to keep it short because the band is getting pretty baby, and we'll look forward to hearing you on here again when maybe the crisis is past and or we've got a little better conditions. So anyway, I'll say 73. I did not get your name. If you can pass that on when we next go around, and I'll just say 73s at this point. K2H, this is KF7 Lima, Mike Sierra.
Roger, Mark. Fine copy all the way. Yes, that operator, I believe, and he's very, very good. The operator in Staten Island, I think is Whiskey Alpha 2, Delta November India, I think. Yeah, he's doing a phenomenal job for us here at the Special Event Station. Thank you so much for your compliments towards the first-line workers. This is what it's about. Our salute to them. Yeah, why are we talking about all these other side issues? Well, all these other side issues contribute to what's going on the front lines. What we're trying to do is retire these folks that are fighting COVID-19. We want them to get back to work, and our discussions are all centered around some of our feelings about some of our ideas of how we could retire them and basically put COVID-19 out of business. And that's why our discussions are perhaps going beyond just saying thank you. We're saying thank you, we feel for you, and we don't want this to continue much longer. And we're all discussing various scenarios that we hope basically might work. And all we can do is speak about it. Thanks a lot, Mark. Thank you so much for the contact. And 73s to you, sir. Thank you so much. Well, let's see if I hear any stations, we'll continue. If not, we'll have to just retire for the day. Not because I'm tired, but because of propagation. That's what amateur radio is about. Certainly is. We're subject to what's going on in the upper atmosphere. Let's see. Kilo 2 Heroes, stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. Special event honoring the heroes fighting COVID-19. QRZ.
Whiskey 9, Bravo, Delta, November here.
Yes, Whiskey 9 with the November. I hear you fine. Nice signal. Give me your call again, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, Peter, we've checked in several times. This is Whiskey 9, Bravo, Delta, November. The name is Steve, Sugar Tango Echo, Victor Echo, and I'm curious, how does my audio sound?
Stephen, your audio is just fantastic. Perfect. Really clear, really crisp, absolutely just spot on. So whatever you've been doing, and tell me, how did you get that to get so good, Steve? And I'm recognizing you now because your picture is coming up on QRZ sitting in that comfortable chair. More importantly, Stephen, thanks for the contact. And third time you're calling, that's 3 thank yous to the heroes fighting COVID-19. So tell me, how did you get things to work so well for you, Steve? Go ahead.
Okay, very good. Well, this is actually the first sideband transmission. I'm running a Collins F line, and I just got it going today. I was waiting for a special microphone plug. So this is the Collins F line. I'm just running barefoot. I don't have an amp on yet, and I'm using an Electro Voice 664 microphone. And just thought we would check in again. This is about the 3rd or 4th time, and you're doing an awesome job, Peter.
Thank you, Stephen, very, very much. I say thank you, but it's all about everyone like yourself that's coming out, taking the time, turning on your rigs, and maybe turning on rigs that you haven't turned on before. Like maybe the Collins S line. I spoke with a fellow yesterday who said he dusted off his equipment and wanted to get on the air. So I can't thank everyone enough for supporting this event by coming out and saying thank you to those heroes fighting COVID-19. And that Electro Voice 604, that's doing a phenomenal job. So once again, just kudos to the Collins S line. They still continue to perform, Stephen. Go ahead.
Yeah, very good, Peter. K2H, SUF there. This is W9 Bravo Delta November. Yes, I definitely hear what you're saying there, Peter. And keep up the good work. I really like the streaming part that you're doing there. That's awesome there. So you take care, and I'm sure we'll probably check in again. And how long are you going to be doing this, Peter? Go ahead.
Thank you, Stephen. We'll be here to the end of May. So May 31st, we have the call sign from the ARRL. Usually they give these call signs for short periods of time, but they felt as strongly as we did about this event. So, yes, I'll be here until the end of May, and please make contact as often as you like. Love to hear your signal coming into the station. Go ahead.
Okay, very good, Peter. Well, we'll certainly do that, definitely, because, like you said, it's very important that these people do get recognized, and I think a lot of people just kind of take things for granted, but boy, this is definitely enough to do. All right, Peter, 73. Until the next time, and there will be a next time. And you take care, and you're doing an awesome job there, stellar performance there for you, Peter. W9DEDN. We'll catch you later.
My pleasure. 73s and the best to you. I think I was asked a question where Brian is located. Brian, I believe, is AF5IU, and he's located in Texas. He's located in the state of Texas. Thanks so much, 73s to you, and thanks so much for saying thank you to the heroes fighting COVID-19. QRZ, Kilo 2 Heroes, stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. QRZ, one more time, QRZ, Kilo 2 Heroes, stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. Roger, N0RIJ. Loud and clear. Thank you so much for repeating the call. You came up very strongly. About a 5 and 9. Thanks a lot, sir. Name and location. Go ahead.
Okay, very good. This is Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri.
Gary, thank you. Thank you so very much. Calling from the Ozarks in Missouri. Really appreciate the contact. Thank you much. Thanks for saying thank you to the heroes fighting COVID-19. Gary, do you have any comments at all that you'd like to share with us? Go ahead.
Oh, just one thing. I have a bit of a stroke, so when you give me your I like to see your I'm having a problem right now. I know your cow.
Right, Gary. No problem. I got you loud and clear. That's fine. The call is, and I'll give it to you slowly, and let me know if you got that, Gary. And listen, congratulations for putting yourself on the air. You are one of our heroes as well. You're not feeling 100%. You're going to be fine, but you're taking the time to really say thank you to the heroes fighting COVID-19, and you're certainly a hero too. Really stretching yourself to get on the air. My congratulations to you. So my call is Kilo 2 Hotel stroke. Hate to use that word, stroke, but it's in the call. Stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. I repeat, Gary, Kilo 2 K2H stroke SUF Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. Is that okay, Gary? Go ahead.
Sure, that'll work.
That's great. Okay, so is there anything else that I can help you with, Gary? Go ahead.
Not really. That sounds good. Okay. And long as everything looks like my deal, boy, I'm having a problem here. I'll go ahead and let you go. Bye now.
That's okay. That's okay. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. Yeah, there's going to be some tough spots there for you, but you're telling your brain you got to work here for me, and you're going to work for me because I'm an amateur radio operator and I love to do this. So Gary, let me wish you the best of 73s. Tell me once again, you're located in Missouri. Is that correct, Gary? Go ahead.
Yes, Lake of the Ozarks.
Fantastic, Gary. Thank you. Lake of the Ozarks. Gary, I'd very much like you to if you can, make as multiple contacts with me. I'd like to talk to you as often as you like. If you want to call every day, but I'd like to do the best so that you'll be feeling better and better. And because you're forcing your brain, and it's called muscle memory, you're going to force your brain to do what it has to do and get yourself to 100%. Right now, you're at 90% as far as we're concerned. Gary, best of 73s to you, and thank you for saying thank you to the heroes fighting COVID-19. That's really very, very kind of you. Thanks for getting on the air, Gary. 73s, and I'll talk to you again, I hope, okay? 73s.
Real good, okay, and we're clear.
We're
done.
Well, okay, isn't that great? I don't know how many people heard that, but I'm really touched by Gary getting on the air in his difficult situation and saying hello to us, and most importantly, recognizing that maybe there's a greater hero out there than he is right now fighting COVID-19. Thanks so much, Gary. You're in my Hall of Fame today. November 0, Romeo, India, Juliet. Glad I stuck in here. Kind of made my day. QRZ, not sure we can hang in here longer, but we'll try. Kilo 2 Hero stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. WA3OPX. Whiskey Alpha 3. Oscar Papa X-ray. Let me make sure I have this right. OPX. Thank you. Hopefully I got that right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Give me your name and location, any comments you might have. Go ahead.
Yes, you have the call correctly. You're about 10 dB over S9 here in Boca Raton, Florida. The handle's Joe, Juliet Oscar Echo, and I think I spoke to you or somebody else operating the station maybe a week or so ago. But it was funny, I was listening. I've been off the air for almost 40 years. Living in South Florida where I live, it's tough to put up an antenna. So my Collins S-line equipment that I used when I lived up north is packed away. And I thought that this would be a good time to maybe get back on the air. Well, I didn't want to mess with unpacking it and cleaning it up and all that. So I purchased one of these ICOM 7300s. I put up a little inverted V antenna with the V up literally about 15 feet from the side of my house, and it's working terrific. So that was easier for me. But I'm really enjoying it. I was extremely active for many, many years, and having fun again. K2 Heroes, WA3OPX.
Roger, Joseph. Thank you. WA3OPX. This is Kilo 2 Heroes, stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. Yep, we're doing good things for other people by saying thank you to all those heroes fighting COVID-19. But also, I'm hearing this over and over again. Yes, 40 years off the air. Well, I'm glad you're back on the air. And I really, can I motivate you? Can I give you a challenge to get that S line on the air if it's not too difficult for you? I'd love to hear it. I really, really would. And yeah, I'm hearing, what I'm hearing is that there's a motivation, there's a desire to want to connect, perhaps putting a radio on the air and this event, and saying that I'm doing something good for myself and good for these heroes fighting COVID-19, and there's a strong motivation. And I'm hearing that so often, and it makes all of us that are running these events feel very, very good. Yeah, we have about 50 counties. I'm the only operator here of this station here. Now, Suffolk, there's many others in Suffolk, so you may have spoken to other people in Suffolk County. We can be on the same band with the same Suffolk extension. My home call is Whiskey 2 Juliet Victor. So that's great, Joe, and maybe you can get that S line going. Go ahead.
Yes, I actually, it's interesting. I have an S line that I bought brand new in the, I guess, the early 70s, and I still have, I built a heat kit SC102. I was still in engineering school, maybe 69 or 70, somewhere around that time. I have all that stuff here. The SP102 I actually put on the air a couple years ago. And it still works after having not been on the air in many years. But I do have the Collins S line out. I just have to clean it up, clean the switches, and just, I guess, turn the power supply on, let it run a little bit, let the capacitors form. But I used that radio for a lot of years and did a lot of contesting, and it served me well. So there's other people calling you, and I promise you I will get my Collins back on the air. K2 Heroes from Joe, WA3OPX.
Roger, Joe. Yeah, I just spoke to someone earlier who was using an Electro Voice 604 with their Collins S line, and I'm not sure what mic you'll be using, but boy, did he sound phenomenal. And let me just also comment on the 7300. That is one heck of a great bargain. The radio really performs well. Your audio of the 7300, you can't be wrong with that. No one could screw up the audio of a 7300, and that really more than ever is getting you through. Although that inverted V is doing a good job, even though it's at a compromised height, doing phenomenally well. Well, 73s to you, Joe. Thank you so much for taking up the challenge and getting back to me and saying, I'm the guy that dusted off this S line and got it back on the air. Thanks a lot again for saying thank you to the heroes fighting COVID-19. Be well, and be good, and be safe, and I'll talk to you soon, Joe.
Thank you in 73s, and thank you for what you're doing.
My pleasure, really is. Thank you. Any other stations for Kilo 2 Heroes, stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot? Oh, good. I'm hearing some state. There's a Yankee, I believe, a Yankee Oscar I heard. Go ahead.
Kilo radio number 4, Yankee Oscar November.
Roger, gotcha. Kilo Romeo 4, Yankee Oscar November. Thank you so very much for coming in, saying hello to us, giving your name, location, and perhaps any comments that you might have. Go ahead.
The name is Chris down here in Savannah, Georgia. I just say thank you for what you do, and I've been listening to you every afternoon. I thought I'd go ahead and holler out to you and say hey, and appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for listening, and thank you for picking up that microphone and burning up a few watts out there and saying hello to us. But more importantly, saying hello to all the heroes, Chris, fighting COVID-19. Thank you a million for making contact with us. We really appreciate that. QRZ, Kilo 2 Heroes, saying thank you to the heroes fighting COVID-19. Suffolk County, Sierra Uniform Foxtrot, listening.
WB0RSZ.
WB0RSZ, Whiskey Bravo 0, Romeo Sierra Zulu. Thank you so much. Thanks for waiting with the calls. a lot of people out there, but your call came through very loudly. Name, location, any comments you might have. Go ahead.
Thank you. The name is Carl. Q2H is Round Rock, Texas. Round Rock, Texas. I'd just like to say thank you to the heroes. Thank you to the heroes. Back to you.
Carl, that's it. That's what it's about. Thank you from Round Rock, famous Round Rock, a famous location in Texas. Thank you, Carl, so much for saying thank you to the heroes that are out there on the front lines fighting COVID-19. And those heroes, well, who are those heroes? Well, we kind of know by now who they are. Those who have been with us for a while. The doctors, the nurses, the healthcare workers, the EMTs, the police, the firemen, the military, the people who provide medical help, as well as the hospital personnel and food services people. The sanitation people, they're heroes too. The supermarket personnel, the technicians working on the cars, the people keeping our phones going, all of them are heroes, and we're here for them by saying thank you to them from the bottom of our hearts, getting on amateur radio. 73s to you, sir. Thanks a lot. QRZ, Kilo 2 Heroes, Stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. Kilo 9 Papa Tango Foxtrot. K9 PTF. Thanks so much, sir. Your name, location, any comments you might have. Go ahead.
This is K9 PTF, Paul, Chelsea, Alabama, and I'm a retired first responder. Think it's really great what you're doing. And by the way, we heard you over on Ham Nation the other night and thought we'd come back to you because we're an NC for the Afternet show on D-Star, over.
Oh, isn't that something? Well, thank you for your work on the D-Star network as an announcer. Thanks so much. How did we do there? Did we do ourselves proud as amateur radio operators, Paul?
I think you did a wonderful job. I hope more people in the future do the same thing. And I'd like to encourage everybody to get out there, get your radio going. And we're going to go through this COVID-19. Well, I hope you don't mind me saying, like crap through a goose. Borrowed it from a little guy known as George Patton, over.
Oh, yes. That's a little guy with a big voice and a tremendous heart and the love of the United States of America. That's for sure. Paul, thank you very, very much. Thanks for your comment, and thank you very, very much. That's a great show. Bob Heil and certainly Gordon West and the group there, they work very, very hard to put on really a first-class show every Wednesday, and we couldn't be prouder. Couldn't be more proud that he gave us the opportunity to talk about what we're doing for New York State. Every county, we're trying to get every county going to represent the state of New York, and we're getting there little by little. Word of mouth is going out, and that was my goal, just to spread the word and say, like you said, get on the air. Thanks, Paul, very, very much. Over to you for a final 73 from the beautiful state of Alabama. Thanks so much, Paul.
Well, once again, you guys take care. 73 to you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Paul, very, very much. Those feelings are expressed your way as well. 73s, QRZ. Let's see how we can hold this. This is Kilo 2 Heroes, Stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot listening. Excuse me. Roger, I'm not sure I got it right. Is that Kilo 0 Quebec Bravo? Go ahead. What's the last letter? Quebec question mark? Go ahead. Oh, okay. I was turning your wonderful call into a longer one. Sorry about that. Thank you so much for repeating that. Kilo 0 Quebec. Thank you so much. Your name and location. Go ahead. Thank you, John, and our hats off and salute to the first responder you mentioned. Thanks so much, John. I appreciate that. Thank you for your good thoughts and words for the heroes fighting COVID-19. Well, right now I'm having great difficulty really hearing these stations, and I want more comments made, and we can't do that when we really can't hear one another. So here at the 2-hour, 29 and 13-minute mark, 5:36 Eastern Standard Time, I want to thank everybody, one and all, for your participation in our event. I hope we can get her on soon again, perhaps, and talk some more tomorrow. But thank you for taking the time to be with us. I want to wish everybody a good night. Take care of yourself. Have a very good, positive mental attitude, and we will get through this for sure. I'm very confident of it. So this is Kilo 2 Hero Stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot, representing the county of Suffolk County in New York, one of 62 counties that are really working hard to say thank you to the heroes fighting COVID-19. Thank you all for your comments. For those people that are listening to the stream, I'm going to put on a couple of videos that I think are pretty important to us as a group. And those that are listening on the air, if you want to go over to the stream, please do so. That would be Twitch, twitch.tv/MyCall Whiskey 2 Juliet Victor, and just sign in and you can watch the stream. Thanks a lot. Thanks everybody for the chat window. Thanks for keeping me busy. 73s, everybody. Be well. Be safe. Be patient, and thanks so very much. Use your own common sense when you go out there and do things. Kilo 2 Hero Stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot will be going QRT for the evening.
Kilo 2 Heroes Sierra Uncle Foxtrot. Thank you for what you're doing. May God bless you and God bless America. Whiskey 4 Charlie X-Ray Tango Terry, Jacksonville, Florida said it. Have a good one. 73.
Well, 73s to you, sir. Thanks a lot for your kind words. I appreciate that, Terry. 73s to you, and thanks so much for your support. Really means a lot. Be well, be safe. Thanks a lot, Terry. Wonderful way to end the evening. Thanks so much. 73s. I know you're in Jacksonville, Florida. Be well. Thank you, Terry.
Kilo India 5 Hotel Charlie.
All right, well, I hear the signal. I'm not going to go. Kilo India 5 Hotel Charlie. Thank you. Don't say I'm a liar. I just am a sucker for a station. Thanks so much. Your name and location. Go ahead.
Name here is Rick, Romeo India Charlie Kilo. Location is Lee City, Texas. Computer 10 over 9.
Rick, thanks so much. I appreciate that. Thanks so much for coming on in, saying thank you to the heroes fighting COVID-19. We really appreciate that. 73s, and thanks a lot for taking the time to say hello and thank you to the heroes. 73s to you, Rick. Be well. Good luck. Hopefully we have better conditions when we're on the air again. Thank you so much. 73s. We're now going QRT, Kilo 2 Heroes, Stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. Thank you, everybody.
You make me strong when I need it. For you, I'm brave. You, I give you all my love. You, I give you all of my love. You, I give you all my love. Always you on my mind.
How do you say thank you to those who keep the world moving, to those who sacrifice theirs for yours, to those on the front lines of a global crisis? How do you say thank you? In every language on the planet.
I couldn't have sent that better. How do you say thank you? Well, everyone out there has been saying thank you to all of us operating the stations here for the heroes. This is Kilo 2 Hero stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot. Want to say goodbye to everybody. Have a safe evening, and we'll see you again soon. 73s, be well, and thank you so much for spending time here with the Kilo 2 Hero stroke Sierra Uniform Foxtrot station. See you all. These are the people that we're working so hard for, the heroes.